All right, and like that, we're back with another Unpacked presented to you by the To Be Fair Show and
the G Shit Podcast.
It doesn't matter how you feel.
All right, fellas, we back with another one, another fun one. This is in the words of A Black, a little more nerdy, but it does deal with current times. We've hit some adjacent topics to this a couple times, but we're talking AI, automation. Google VO, they just dropped some new Google just dropped some updates, including Google VO 3. There's been a lot of push for like these new AI agents and how they're impacting. There's been a couple companies that have did massive layoffs. Generally speaking, the impact of AI is starting to creep up and become a reality, and no more just kind of a conversation of what's to come, where it's starting to actually impact the market, is impacting the job market, the stock market, and we're here to talk about it. Will this lead us to eventually socialism, where there's a mass amount of jobs lost and we kind of have to, figure things out? Or is this another thing that capitalism can beat? I don't know, but we'll see. Before we get too deep into it, though, again, got a fire panel starting up at the top. G from the G-ish podcast. Talk to him, brother. We can't hear you. Still can't hear you. Are you muted?
He said, "Go to the next person."
I'll go to the next person. All right, my bad. With that said,
y'all hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
We got you.
All right, bet. My bad. What up, everybody? It's G, host of the G Shit Podcast, where we focus on family, friends, finances, freedom, and our future, and fuck everything else. Check it out wherever you get your pods. Just search GSHPOD. Hi.
I feel like G was on like when you put the YouTube at like 1.2, 1.3 speed. Sped through that one a little bit. Hey, Black, talk to us. Mayor Charlotte, Charlotte's own Black is Gold. What's going on,
man? Yeah, y'all see the title. Follow me Instagram at Black is Gold. Also, that's the brand, the website, the clothing, man. Happy to talk about a favorite topic of mine and a field that I'm actually in and interested in right now, AI today. So looking forward to a great conversation.
All right. Johnny P, a third of the To Be Fair Show, host of the To Be Fair Show. New camera angle. I like it. Talk to us, brother.
What's going on, family? Glad to be back. Just looking forward to this one. I'm a big capitalism boy, so I think it should be an interesting one. But y'all tap into the chat. All super chats get read. Hit like, comment below. We gonna get it.
Gotcha. All right. So with that said, y'all know we love a good icebreaker. I think we got a couple of them on the docket. I think our last one will lead into the conversation where we'll talk about Trump and that big, beautiful bill that Elon isn't really feeling. But before we get there, there has been a couple things in pop culture that, we'd like to address to kind of just start off. We have been doing our playoff predictions. I can't say that we've really did really well. I think, damn, I don't know. We might have went 1 for 2 last round. Well, I think everybody had OKC going, right?
I think I
But
might have called it.
but Johnny, you might have been the only one that said Indiana, to be honest.
Might have called it.
But nonetheless, how they say it? What the helly? What the hally?
What the hell, Burton?
Right. Fellas, how are y'all feeling about an OKC Indiana finals?
Shoot, I mean, I like it, man. New blood, so gonna be somebody with some new rings. New energy. Both are from quote unquote small markets, so I mean that's good for them in their city. You know how much that drives economically when your city does good in sports, and it's kind of moving away from the myth that you gotta be in a New York or LA or Miami or Chicago.
Mhm.
So, being a Charlotte Hornets fan, that's looking good for us too. That like, hey, we might be some hope for us in the future if these small market teams can kind of keep developing young stars and building them up. So, I would be cool if either one of these teams won. I like OKC and I like Indiana. I like Halliburton. I like SGA. And so really it's kind of I think a win-win. It's some new energy for the league because me personally I get fatigued with seeing the same faces unless it's Steph Curry. I mean that's my dude. But other than that, I get fatigued kind of seeing the same teams. I definitely didn't want to see Boston. So anybody but them because they bore
Oh
me.
damn.
Yeah, other than that, man, I'm cool. I'm kind of excited. I've been seeing some hate like it's gonna get low ratings and this that, but I think it's gonna surprise people, man. I think it's gonna be a good matchup.
Who you got winning it?
Uh, I'm gonna go with OKC, man. I feel like they are more dominant. And I don't really got too much, man. I just think it's their year. I think SGA is on a tear to prove something, but I also wouldn't be surprised if Indiana snuck him. Like I feel like Halliburton got a good chip on his shoulder as well. But I think SGA is OKC is more complete and a stronger team. And that defense is crazy. I think Indiana got the best offense and OKC got the best defense. So it should be interesting. So I think take OKC though.
Oh yeah, no,
Got it. Johnny, I
shout
think
out.
go to you with this question first. Was Hallie robbed? If Indiana wins, would this be the biggest underdog story in basketball history? We would just put it there in basketball history.
I don't know if the Hallie got robbed for sure.
Okay.
He the engine of that team. Pascal good. He made a lot of plays, but I mean, Halliburton hit the biggest shots. He made the biggest plays. He had the biggest, most historic game. So I think he for sure should have got it. That could go one or two ways. Sometimes it could divide a team. It might create some animosity, or it could bring them together and put a battery.
Well, the big one is the final MVP anyway.
Yeah.
You right about that, but it's still you saw how he was stepping up. He was ready to take that.
Yeah.
The Western Conference MVP. I mean, I think it's a new award in general. I don't know how true this is. They say they know who the MVP is before they announce it. So, and that whole meme of him looking like he was thinking he was getting it, that was really him like in the middle of taking a picture with somebody, and then kind of like showed a different angle he was taking a picture. I don't know. I mean, Pascal was consistent with the points. I think he averaged 30. Halliburton had a game where he only hit 8.
Yeah.
And then that last game when they closed the series out, they went off. They was already up. The game was already out of control, and kind of Halliburton started hitting the deep three and doing all that extra stuff. So, and I think he's more exciting, But I think like as far as most valuable, they wouldn't have been there without.
And then he strap up on the other side. He actually played D.
Yeah.
No,
Pascal was just the most consistent like throughout that series. So, I mean, I think he'll get Finals MVP if they win that. Halliburton will.
Yeah.
No matter the stats, but yeah, I don't know if he got robbed. I think you can't beat 30 points a game. Like,
man, but he hit the clutchest shots. He had the historic game, the triple double, 15 assists, 12 rebounds, no turnovers.
That's true. Like it could have
He had the highest high for sure.
It could have went either way for sure.
That's why I would have. That's just why I would have gave it to Halliburton. But I also think he has a lot more to gain. You know, as far as notoriety if they do win, because like before the season, I don't know if people were putting him top 10.
So is this the biggest underdog story if they do pull it off?
I think it's one of them. It's one
comparable. A team that wasn't supposed to win it at this level wins it.
I mean Toronto recently, and then maybe the Spurs, the first Spurs team when they beat. I mean,
maybe Detroit when they beat the Lakers that year.
But I think Detroit was still supposed to come out the East.
They beat them 4-1 too. Like,
but I don't think nobody
like they dominated that.
I'm saying that 13 Spurs team was old. Like people like they was like on their last. Like I mean, everybody passed their prime except Kawhi on that team.
Yeah. But didn't they win like 60? Like 60?
They was very much a high seed in the West, like a top seed in the West.
They weren't like an underdog.
Yeah, like Indiana, there was what was they like a 7 seed, 6 seed, something like that.
No, there was a 4.
They was
6. It was 6.
I thought,
Indiana was 6 seed.
I feel like it was something like that. But nonetheless, I think that everybody picked above them at minimal. They had Boston for sure, the Cavs for sure. I don't know anybody besides for Johnny that said that Indiana was going to beat New York.
And the Raptors, like, were expected to compete for a ring. Like, that's why they went and swung for Kawhi. They finished with, like, the top 1 or 2 seed in the East that year, too. So,
yeah,
this would be the craziest by far.
Might be one of the biggest underdogs. Yeah,
this would be the craziest by far. I mean, look, if it would be one of the most, you could say the craziest underdog, but it also be one of the most disappointing outside of Golden State winning the 70 games and going up 3-1 and losing. Yeah, this will probably be like second most disappointing because they've been clearly the most dominant team all season.
But I would go back to that Detroit LA. I might think that one might have been more disappointing. That was supposed to be the dynasty. They ran through the West that year.
No, I'm saying, but they had won championships before that though. This OKC team ain't never won one, and to be this close, I think is like I think this is disappointing.
That's why I think it's really a win.
They're supposed to win. They should win in 5.
It should be. It's OKC in theory should make quick work of this, but what I think will make this at least go 6 games is the experience factor. You do got Rick Carlisle over there. Like, you can say what you want, motherfucker can coach. Like, Rick Carlisle is one of the best coaches in the league. I know that from the time with the Mavs, and he had success with the Pacers before he went there. Like, he's legitimate. Everywhere he go, he went.
Yeah,
and you can't. Draymond said himself before Julius Randle, the person that really got him was Pascal in the finals. You got one of them Africans who ready to run, who ain't gonna get tired, who is actually though can get to his spot and hit that within 10, 15 feet. Pascal is pretty money. Like, his mid range, he's going relentlessly.
I just don't like his game.
Both sides.
There's just something about it.
It's an ugly game, but it's effective. And in that style of play, I mean, it's like the perfect system for his style. So
I think they do match up with OKC.
It's gonna be they got both teams got dogs, both teams got depth, but in theory, OKC has the superior talent, top to bottom.
Yeah, in essence, what I've heard, and I think that it's a fair take, is that Indiana is like the light version of OKC. Everything that Indiana has, OKC has just a little bit better. When you talk about like a star point guard that's an all-star, you comparing Shea Halliburton. Talk about a lockup defender. You got Lou Dort. What's the Indiana boy? The light skin.
Nembhard.
You got Nembhard. You talk about a really long wing that can get the job done. You got Pascal. You got Jalen Williams, Chet Williams, Miles Turner. I forget what the centers are, but like it's a fairly even match. But in most of the matchups, you kind of lean over to whatchamacallit. Even when you talk about the white boys coming off the bench, you got Alex Caruso, you got Alex Caruso light, which is what's the McConnell.
He don't play defense like.
I mean, McConnell. I like McConnell as like a role player, but at the end of the day, you know, he's very limited in terms of when you go out there, you're gonna go target him every possession.
For sure. All right, so fellas, again, just doing our quick pop culture round table. Let me see if I can pull it up really quickly. But there has been a couple different things that have been making its rounds when it comes to the social media space. I guess we're talking AI. Last week we talked about the algorithm. For a lot of us, we kind of struggle with getting fed a lot of trash on the algorithm, to a point where sometimes you can't help but follow stories you don't really care about. One of these, if you are a New England Patriot fan, maybe this is not the best story for you, but Cardi B, Offset, and Stephon Diggs. Fellas, I'll talk to y'all. Do y'all have some takes today? I think that what's his name? Offset said he about to crash out because his kid and Stephon Diggs got the same haircut. I don't know. What are y'all thoughts?
Offset need to chill, bro, because the rapper is supposed to be cooler than the athletes. Like, you can't be out here getting trolled by an athlete like on social media.
I ain't gonna lie, I kind of feel him though, to be honest. Like when you start, for sure.
I mean, bro, the relationship over. Like, I mean, you can't.
No. I ain't talking about that part. Like the kid
back by Thanksgiving.
They probably will be, but the kid trolling on the internet part. To me, that's the part where it's like that's where, to me,
But I think
not saying I had a bunch of respect for Cardi B. I think that part's nasty for sure.
But I think she only doing it in response. Like, if Offset would shut up, like, she wouldn't be like coming back. I think like she's definitely pettier than him, but I think he is like bringing a lot of this on himself by even reacting to like the little stuff in the beginning. I think if you don't react, she don't go to hell. You know what Michelle say? They go low or we go to hell or something like that. But like. You ain't supposed to, like, if you don't react, you don't give her that platform to react back to.
Cardi from the Bronx, right? That's where she from.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Hey man, look, Remy, Cardi, do not trust these Bronx chicks, boy, because if you get on their wrong side of them, they are going to fry your ass to pieces online. Like,
and I think all that's fire, but you gotta leave the kids out of it, especially when like your man is trolling with your kid. That's just like if one thing you know, people will die about their children. People will actually really crash out about like all the relationship shit. It'd be fair game. Like, I don't know. This is just me.
Are you saying this towards Cardi or towards Stephon Diggs? Like who's guilty of the troll?
To me, I put more onus on Cardi for sure.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, because of Stephon Diggs. Like he's a nigga that in 2 years, not even 2 years, probably 2 months. Like this right now is getting his 3. Yeah. He getting his stock up. Like I get him. Like,
yeah, he boosting his cachet right now. It's like we niggas know Stephon. People that NFL follow, we know Stephon. He's not internationally known. But when Cardi B's about to make you internationally known.
Yeah.
Now you got women who don't know shit about sports, who don't know nothing about the Diggs brothers, who about to be into this guy now. I'm seeing him all in my algorithm now. I'm seeing old clips of him working out and sports stuff like in the algorithm. So
well, you saw what he was doing on the boat, right?
On the boats giving out that pink cocaine, that Diddy.
Hey man,
that's that pink Camron.
He's gonna learn. It's nasty work all around.
Making him call him daddy.
Well, people don't remember. It was like in October, Offset was saying that she was cheating on him while she was pregnant with Stephon.
Yes, I do remember that too.
And people were saying, "Oh, you tripping? She would never do that," and all of this stuff. So. For me, it's been like a long game with Stephon. Now this stuff coming out that he's putting stuff in her ear about do this, do that, and you know he trying to make his own play for it. And So for me, what's funny is the reaction always of women of how they think everything is a win or a get back, and oh, she came up, oh, he got more money. Like Offset worth double more than Stefan. You know, NFL money goes quick.
Whoa. Why do you think that?
Because it's proven. Like,
why do you think Offset is worth more than Stefan Diggs?
Because it's proven. Like he's 30 million up.
Stefan Diggs just like you know you talking about like a NFL.
Oh no,
like,
Cardi B's up way more than Stefan.
No, Cardi B worth 100 mil.
No, Cardi's worth more than both the niggas, but I don't think Offset is worth more than Stefan Diggs, bro.
Stefan just got 26 guaranteed.
He just got like I don't think Offset is touching Stefan Diggs' money. Real talk, bro, not right now. Not right now.
We know how NFL money is.
He not touring right now or nothing. Like he kind of cold. Like when you an artist and you not really. And his catalog is not even his. Like he's got to break that down by three.
I'm just going off what the Google and the ChatGPT numbers say, and we know NFL.
Okay, 40 and 60. Okay,
that's why you can't trust them.
The contract with NFL money based on performances, based on injury. You know,
the shit definitely not guaranteed. Yeah.
He got 26 guaranteed. The NFL money goes really fast. Like
26 guaranteed, decent.
So I'm just saying the reaction that like. She's winning. Like it's not a competition. It's Offset got 3 kids with this girl. Like he's already.
Oh, damn, they got that many kids.
He's 3. He gonna get spousal support.
Like, that alimony king.
He go Kevin Federline her. That's been long ago. That's the only reason to marry a Cardi B is for her money. Like she was never a wife, but. That's why she threw it in people's face when she became one, because she's like, I'm a former stripper, I'm this hoe, I'm this sex worker, and I still got married. I got the ring, I don't got cooking clean. She's been bragging and bashing people every song, and now she's on this whole empathy tour, which I don't get because Offset cheated multiple times. When multiple times the world said, leave this nigga, and every time she get back with the nigga, what she say to everybody else? Fuck y'all, stay out my business. I'm gonna do what I want to do. And like, okay, cool. And it happened multiple times. So now this
but hey, hold on, G. They say the boy Stefan Diggs a certified dog too, and
been one since Minnesota. Been one since Minnesota.
They say he one of the biggest dogs out there. So I mean, for her to go from like, I mean, she just hopping from Offset to like Stefan Diggs might even be worse.
But like to that point though. Do you think that because like I just looked at the career earnings, 137 million? I'm telling you. So if you Offset with your 30 and this nigga that made 130, and now he piping your chick, eating your kids' snacks, that's gotta hurt a little bit that she didn't like go get another rapper. She got a nigga that's like, you know.
Well, how much out of that? How much out of career earnings you think matches with career spending? Like you think he has that in liquid? Like a lot of niggas make that in a career, but we know the statistics about NFL players being broke 4 years after retirement is the majority. So we see this nigga in his lifestyle. I mean, I don't know. Maybe he has a dope business portfolio, but the trajectory seems like he don't have as much long term. As Offset, like, all right, he can be kind of cold on the music scene, but he can get hot again. You know,
I don't know.
Your NFL career, once you done with
that, he gonna keep getting checks for sure. Yeah, I don't know, but nonetheless, I think one of y'all said the word sex worker, which leads me to another one. One of our guys, Camron. He recently did an interview with one of Cassie's hired work. I'll push play on a little bit. I think this is a minute. I'm not sure exactly what part this is, but I'm gonna just push play.
How was that pussy though?
Oh damn! All right,
bro.
My bad, audience.
Bro, was the pussy good? Let's stop with political shit. We was Harlem time, my nigga. You 39th Street or 40th. Was the pussy? How was that pussy, my nigga?
Bro, I'm gonna be honest with you, man. I couldn't get there, bro.
Okay.
Like I gotta dude pacing back and forth, beating his joint. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
My peripherals, my spider senses is wilding. You know what I'm saying? And especially when I found out it was Puff. When I found out it was Puff, it got all the way worse because if you grew up in Harlem, if you grew up in that era, I can't validate it, but everybody knows there's rumors, right? There's rumors that he could be, you know, interested in dudes. So the whole time I'm semi-paranoid. Like I wrote in my book, bro, for real. I got a hearing.
Yeah, I ain't knocking him.
Oh my God.
How was that pussy though?
Yo, that gotta be like an intro to a song or something.
Yo, man, this nigga Cam, boy.
He asking the question that everybody been wanting to know.
Real.
Like,
he later asked her, like, were you hitting it raw? Like, he was asking crazy questions, bro. He's a funny dude, man.
So we know they was because she talked about her UTIs and STDs and all of that shit. But I mean, I ain't heard like out of all the sexual shit with the case, I haven't heard nobody said a man that's fucked Diddy or he's fucked them. Like I heard him being in the room and doing weird like cuckold type shit, but like I haven't heard an actual confirmation of him like engaging with a man yet. You know,
just men's fluids.
Yeah, that is definitely sus, but. We need
Camron. Something about him being in the shower with
that is not sus. It is that's not suspect.
I mean, yeah, that's
it is. You are guilty, nigga.
That's like red-handed. You're caught.
Yeah, you are guilty.
Smoking my own shit on me, like
yeah, but that I don't think any straight guy. Yeah, there's just certain limits and boundaries that I don't think men typically.
Hell no.
Yeah, but we need Camron. Like we need people to interview all these people. I mean, everybody clout chasing off Diddy right now anyway. So, like you might as well get them interviews, some side interviews, and you know get your views up. And that's funny. Like everybody's still making money off Diddy one way or the other with the monetization of the content, the interviewing, the security guard, the chef, the cook, the driver. The assistant, like it's a whole fucking Diddy industry right now. These people still getting money.
G, I know that you've been keeping up with it fairly decently. What has been some of the new developments? Has there been anything shocking, anything big that's came out the last 2 weeks?
Nah, I mean it's the what's the girl name?
Capricorn.
Yeah. Like that was probably the biggest one that kind of like it's just a crazy situation, but like the proof of using staff to facilitate things, like they really starting to kind of set up like the idea of it being like a organizational sort of thing, and so yeah, but from what I heard today was that they just submitted the freak off tapes. I think 10 of them with Cassie. So I don't know what's going to come from that.
When he was trying to pay $50 million to not get it for somebody to delete it or some shit like that.
I don't know about that, but 10 tapes were submitted, freak off tapes. I don't know who's on them other than Cassie, but I think the craziest thing from this whole thing is the fact this nigga extorted the mama, bro. Like that.
That was a wild story.
That is next level demon time. That is next level demon time.
You know what I gotta say about that? It's like,
oh no,
it's $20,000, right?
Gotta pay that debt, right?
Why don't
you got a loan for it?
Why don't Cassie got the $20K to get from mom? Or why don't one of the niggas she's fucking on, Kid Cudi, Michael B, all these niggas, these other rich niggas?
Diddy didn't want it from them. He wanted it from her.
I know, but I'm saying call your daughter and be like, I need $20K. Your abusive man is trying to extort me, and then he paid her back 5 days later after she took out a mortgage and all that shit.
That's crazy.
That's crazy.
Power play. That shit say something.
That's crazy.
But that's like, to me, that made me look at Cassie again. Like, why is your mom in this position? Like $20K. Like, I ain't rich.
I mean, but wasn't she like? How old was she at the time? How old was she at the time?
I don't know.
And
like,
I don't know if I think Cassie just got $20K laying around.
Yeah, she in her young 20s being taken care of her whole existence.
She's hustling wrong. Like That nigga leaving bills around the room. You
No,
can
that's
be
true.
stashing.
Well, no, actually, them niggas was really cheap with this freak off shit. Like,
they was
all
on
of
Craigslist.
Yeah, I think that you said that they was paying him like $300 for a year.
One nigga say he just started coming for free because he just liked it.
I'm like, bro,
I mean, as soon as you find out it's Diddy, you gotta up the prices though.
It's crazy.
But you know, he get nobodies because who will believe them if they come out and like, you know, I fuck Diddy and Cassie, some random Craigslist person. Nobody go believe you. You get a high class escort and shit that, you know, people might be a little known. It's more risk involved. But if I get somebody off a damn back page or somebody, nobody gonna believe you. Like, you a little 200, 2,000, whatever. You know, you good. But yeah, it's they now. I don't know, G, if you saw the defense cross examination of the assistant Capricorn, they basically like blew her whole shit out the water. Like, you know, she's still trying to get jobs with him, like years and years. They got video of her at a recent birthday party, blowing kisses at him, like thanking him.
Yeah, that's true, but it doesn't her testimony in regard to the whole Kid Cudi situation is what's really damning, is that because they came to her house, picked her up, and went to Kid Cudi's house, and she saw them go in the home. She confirmed these things. So, so even though she can, the stuff about working and all that is true, in terms of like what the prosecutors are trying to get to, the damage is done, and that can't be denied.
Yeah, I don't
mean, it's just her word, though. I mean, like,
I don't see them proving no Rico, none of that on him.
But it's not just her word, Johnny, because when they cross-examine, they could have like chopped that up to say, were you really in the Jeep with them? Did you really go? Like, they didn't. They tried to make her look uncredible, like A Black just said, with other points, but they didn't negate or, you know, defend the actual.
They didn't push back away from
part of the arson breakup or the break-ins and shit, where he went there, unwrapped niggas' gifts and locked his dog up.
Nigga was hurt. He was hurt about that dog. Like,
he crazy.
That dog was the breaking point.
All right, so Johnny, I think he sent in proof of concept, I guess. So I'm gonna play this.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Least like to date your sister.
What the hell?
Diggs.
Stephon Diggs.
Diggs is the guy.
Least I should date my sister, Diggs. 100%.
Why Diggs?
Man, no.
He's crazy.
He's not a guy that you want to bring home to your parents. He talks a lot.
Outrageous. Don't know what he's gonna say.
And I don't like him. We're gonna leave it like that. No.
Just don't know what to expect every day.
It's like you don't want your sister to bring him home to your parents, so therefore she can't date him.
He couldn't date my sister.
What guy on this team would you least like to date your sister? And I might add, you're starting to be the runaway favorite for this.
But nobody want me to date this, is it? I'm a great guy. I'm actually a great guy.
There's actually seems to be a few guys that don't think that.
Feel differently about me?
Yeah.
They just don't know me well enough. That's what it is. Just a all right, who don't I want to date my sister? Weatherly.
Why Weatherly?
Because he's ugly.
All right, so nonetheless, that was I guess proof that you shouldn't bring Stephon Diggs home, I guess, Johnny.
That he a dog. Like, I mean,
he basically the offset of the NFL, pretty much. She just a bad decision maker, man. She a bad decision maker.
All right. I'm gonna push play on a little bit of this meme. This can kind of get us introduced into a bit of the conversation about the big beautiful bill that Trump is attempting to pass. Yeah. There's some positives, some negatives. This is kind of long, so I'm gonna try and skip around through a couple different parts. But he tries to be fairly bipartisan.
Breakdown of the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. It's going to be really long, even though I'm reading really fast. So first of all, you need to know that this is Trump's flagship bill. It's part of budget reconciliation, which means that it cannot be filibustered like other legislation. So Trump can get a lot done here. He only needs a simple majority in the House and Senate to pass this bill. So it's already passed the House, and now the Senate is parsing through it, negotiating which parts to keep and which to change. The bill is unique because it is only allowed to contain legislation that directly impacts the federal budget, meaning each provision has to raise revenue or spend it. Anything else is not allowed in the bill, and there are a few things that are going to be up for debate. Now, I'm not going to go through all of the bill, it's 1,000 pages, but we are going to cover the biggest stuff, starting with tax cuts. The Big Beautiful Bill Act permanently extends Trump's 2017 tax cuts, which were set to expire, locking in lower individual tax rates and doubling the standard tax deduction indefinitely. Now, this is great for us, but it is not good for the budget. The bill also introduces new tax cuts. These cuts provide tax relief to Americans, but are also projected to reduce the federal revenues by $3.8 trillion over the next decade. Another indirect tax cut is the SALT deduction. This allows Americans in states with higher taxes Trump, so it's golden.
I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit.
So it's golden, right? So everything that we just looked at increases the deficit. Now let's take a key look at some of the ways that this bill saves money, starting with welfare reform. So a lot of these savings are coming from stricter requirements for Medicaid and SNAP food assistance eligibility. The Urban Institute estimates that these new requirements could push over 5 million people off of Medicaid coverage and roughly 11 million people off of SNAP benefits. These changes should save the government about $1 trillion over the next 10 years. Another money saver is cuts to Biden's clean energy and climate initiatives. It ends clean energy tax credits like the credits for electric vehicles and subsidies for solar and wind, as well as other green incentives. All told, the administration hopes to save hundreds of billions by these green subsidies. The bill also tightens federal student aid programs. For example, students who want to qualify for the Pell Grant now need to take 15 credits per semester rather than 12. And the bill requires universities to share the risk of student loans so that universities also pay if students default. There are also a lot of random parts of this bill that I'm just going to list bullet points real quick. One, it repeals the IRS.
I'm gonna go to the end because I think that this is the interesting one that ties in.
The next 10 years. So the big question is government officials in the executive branch. This provision has little
My bad. This is also important too.
Controversial stuff, a lot of which is going to be up for debate in the Senate. First, contempt rulings. So this bill makes it harder for courts to enforce contempt of court by forbidding the use of any funds to enforce contempt of court citations. In practice, this would paralyze the court's ability to enforce their orders, especially against government officials in the executive branch. This provision has little budgetary relevance and is expected to face a challenge in the Senate for being extraneous policy. Second, this bill makes it easier and faster to strip nonprofits of their tax-exempt status if they are deemed terrorist supporting. And third, this bill contains language nullifying any state or local regulation of artificial intelligence systems for the next 10 years. So the big question with a budget
we won't get to that last point, but I do think that is an interesting last point. Fellas, what is y'all thoughts? Again, there's some of the good, some of the bad. Is lower taxes. There's that falls on the good. There's going to be a loss of a lot of benefits, SNAP benefits, Medicaid, like some of the government assistant things, there's going to be loss of and higher requirements for, say, Pell Grants, in which it also levy some institutional, responsibility to it. I don't know. What is y'all thoughts?
I mean, it's a lot.
It's a lot.
I think that, like I said, there's some things I kind of like. The tax breaks. I think that's going to be good. I think even a lot of stuff with the student loans, like putting them on universities. I think that's stuff that could possibly be good as far as holding multiple institutions accountable for when these debts or when these debts are defaulted on. Now the SNAP benefits, I think that's one of those. I mean, it's kind of to be expected with Trump, but we'll see. With that, there's especially Medicaid, because I think there's a lot of people that depend on Medicaid, and I don't really know what they would do necessarily without it. Again, I get Medicaid and Medicare confused a little bit, so but I know people depend on that, and it helps a lot of the elderly and vulnerable population. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah, I saw some good things in it too. I think the Medicaid is worrisome for sure. I feel like you shouldn't strip that without first creating some type of health revolution in our food industry. If you're not going to create like a healthy populace, you can't take away the things that help them and save their lives. So I mean, I know RFK is doing some things like, you know, banning certain chemicals and preservatives, and food dyes and things like that. But I think if you're going to strip people of forms of healthcare in a society where you don't have universal healthcare or free healthcare, like you got to start pushing like healthy reforms too, and like have some type of alternative that's like going to actually help people live better and eat better. But you know, it's a big ass bill, so I mean, I don't think it's gonna be one thing you can agree with all or disagree with all. But I know Elon was mad about it, which is a good sign. You know, if the billionaires don't like it, then that must mean it's doing something to help the people out, because you know all they worried about is their own pockets. So I mean that was a good sign. I think we predicted actually on one of our earlier shows that they would eventually have a fallout or a break in in the way that they see things. And I think Elon really wants to run the government and be in some type of control. But yeah, I mean I'm interested to see if it gets passed or not, how they revise it. I don't think they will probably keep everything in it, but yeah, I think it's progressive more than regressive, I think, for sure.
G.
I mean, honestly, man, it's a lot of noise around it, where it's one of those things where it's like the issues that they're talking about, it's like political theater. I feel like is what's happening, because you know, people always talk about black folks and how they get off on the system, but we know statistically the bulk of the folks receiving those benefits are in rural or poor white communities in America. And so I just, you know, I'm very curious because even like Elon talked against it. Steve Bannon talked about how he wasn't for it. So it seems to not be popular on like multiple sides. Like I hear Democrats talking against it. I hear Republicans talking against it.
I think that they're talking against it for two separate reasons, though. I think Bannon's whole issue is the whole tax break part.
Yeah, he needs more taxes.
And he's for more taxes because of, you know, again, and well, I guess both of them are in general against it for the exact same reason, but Elon's a little bit more selfish in the sense that he's saying that it's going to redo the budget cuts of Doge, and not necessarily because of like he want or care about tax cuts.
Yeah, that is just, but it's interesting to see how the criticism is being delivered from even his seemingly, you know, always supportive folks that's been by his side over the years. So I'm more curious to see just how this impacts the upcoming, well, it's not really upcoming, but the midterm elections, and like we were talking about a few shows ago of like this party as a Republican and Democrats, like what is this really coming of? Because on top of this, the Biden aide renounced the Democratic Party and now she's an independent now. So it's an interesting landscape, and I'm just really curious to see how things start to shake as it relates to the new version of blue and red politics starts to emerge.
Yeah, I feel like anything that Trump does is gonna get this resistance anyway, just because it's Trump. Like it might be a totally different reaction with this same bill if it was Joe Biden. But I just think like some people, no matter what he does, they just go try to find flaw and fault. Where some is granted, but I just think some people can't see any type of good that he can do. I mean, we even saw that this past week with some of the pardons he was putting out. You know, Larry Hoover and different people like that people have been screaming to be free forever. When he does it, then it's like people can find criticism towards it, like, oh, why he letting the drug dealer free? Why la la la? So it's like in some instances he can't win. And you know, I think you still got.
He might free Tory.
He said he might free Diddy too.
Nah, Diddy. I don't know if you saw, but 50 posted this video of his compilation of Diddy just criticizing Trump.
It ain't gonna happen.
Oh yeah, I mean, all he gotta do is kiss the ring. That's all Trump wants. Apologize, kiss the ring. He'll forgive him. And he kind of indirectly said that, he's like, I heard he got some criticism, but I can review it, and even if you don't like me, I might still pardon you. So, if it come down to that, they did kiss the ring. 50 a fool though, man. 50 building up some crazy karma for himself out here. I tell you, cause he kicking niggas while they down, and he be loving it. But everybody,
be fair, 50 kick you while you down, while you up.
That's true.
Like, he been throwing shots at Diddy for a minute. Like,
everybody get their turn. But yeah, we can move on.
Gotcha.
I think it's could be interesting, like what this would do to the Republican Party, because I feel like there's a lot of people that have been supporting the Republican Party that aren't necessarily being looked out on, and they're going to feel a lot of you're already starting to see it, but they're feeling a lot of like repercussions from this president. And I think he has a chance to lose some of that loyal following.
You talking about old MAGA?
Old MAGA. I think they're starting to get a little restless, and I think he is. I don't want to say abandon him, but you can also see where he feel like they've played their part. He don't have no more elections, to win. So it's like, why does he need this? The populace that voted him in. He's just trying to consolidate power and get people on his side. But the people that put him there, he's almost, just kicking him to the side. And I think it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out.
Yeah. My bad. I was trying to pull up the just to go along with G's point. I know we don't really do AI summaries on here, but according to Google's AI summary, it said that approximately 30% of the SNAP program is white people, 26% is black, 16% is Asian, and Hispanic, and then 3% is Asian. Just to again go to the notion that black people aren't specifically the ones that are the most that use this program the most. But I guess I'll ask y'all, a lot of times they say when it rains, it pours in the black community. If this does go through, again, I think it went through the House, it got to make it through the Senate. And they're saying that, again, revisions will happen. But if this does go through, where there's a thought of millions of people losing SNAP and Medicaid benefits, how will that impact the black community? Even with the idea that we're not the most, the group that's most on it.
So I would say if we're going to be fair, we're not the group that's most on it in terms of who's taking the share of the SNAP resources, like as you just said, but representing 13-14% of the population and having 26 or whatever percentage of those resources is, I would say, disproportionate. And so for sure, this will have a huge impact on the black community. So I don't want to minimize that this will have an impact on black community, but I just didn't want to have it seem like it would single us out as if like other communities wouldn't get hit too. But it's definitely going to have a huge impact on our community. No question.
Yeah. I mean, you got people that really need it. I had a grandmother in her 70s, that's how she gets her groceries. And, she's not in a position where she can just like go get back in the job market. Like that's how she eats, how she buys her food. You have people that like really survive off of it. I mean, of course you got people that take advantage of it too and, fix the system, but they have to create some type of alternative or something for people that really need it, that can't work, and it has to be maybe alternate incomes and income based, and just making sure that people that really need it get it. But to take it completely away, it's going to create like a huge void in a lot of people's life, like that really need that money. Like that's the only way they can afford food.
Yeah. Now, I think just to be fair on the other side, I don't think they said it was going away with it. I think they were upping the requirements to be on, which is going to
kick. It's not going away. It's they're cutting. A lot of people are going to be ineligible.
I think it said like 11 million people.
Yeah.
And so, but what I'm saying is the people that are theoretically really supposed to be on it will still be on it. The poorest of the poor. Now, the people that are probably getting kicked off are probably some of the fringe people that I imagine that are just barely eligible on the new system. So I think we'd have to see who would be who would be getting kicked off the most versus, it still will be there for the people who really need it, I hope.
Do y'all think that these types of benefits, food stamps, SNAP, Section 8, do you think that these things should have expiration dates if you unemployment, like if you do have Section 8, like do you think it should only be for a handful of years and then you gotta get it on your own, or like same with SNAP?
They do. I mean, I can't speak for Section 8. I've never had that. When I was a full-time entrepreneur, I was eligible for SNAP. I think I got like $250 a month, and you get like a 6-month period, and then you have to kind of keep renewing it based on your income, based on whatever. If you get a job or something, you have to account for that. If you lie, and they can take that money back and stuff. So it's definitely a process of renewal. It's a short-term period because it's supposed to be like supplemental to help you get on your feet or whatever.
Do you think it should be a max amount of renewals?
It is that too. I think you might get I want to say, don't quote me, maybe 2 years tops that you can renew. So like every 6 months.
Because I know niggas who've been on for more than 2 years. I ain't
gonna lie to you. Yeah, and like I say, if you fall below certain economic standards, then yeah, you can keep it. But if you end up getting a job, making a certain amount of money, maybe over like 35K or something like that a year, then and you put your social security number in, it's gonna send you a letter to be like, yo, we see you working.
Yeah. I ain't gonna lie, I just got an offer to buy some stamps today.
Yeah, but I mean, them nice. I was definitely in Whole Foods buying steaks and lamb.
Sir.
Like, I ain't go front.
It was a sad day when my food stamp connect stopped answering the phone. Answering the text. That hurt. It was a time when I had 2 of them.
She hit that max renewal.
Yeah. I'm fucking with services money. God damn.
Like I start paying for food again. It's like, damn, this is life.
Like I didn't know this situation until I had to pay full price for that for everything. Like I was going to the grocery store half and everything. Like, all right, fuck it. Mm-hmm. This.
Get all my meat
from ribeye to steak.
On the snaps, and then just buy snacks and stuff. But thank God we still got self-checkout, man. All hope ain't not lost.
Hey, that's the one thing AI gonna make more popular. You can get rid of all them little cashiers. We got this.
All right. I guess this
speaking of AI,
I'm about to say, speaking of AI, I guess that does lend itself for a decent segue into it. As we speak of self-checkout, automation, AI, all of these things are kind of closely correlated. Where we're at, we're speaking about social programs and the current need for them. But I'll go to this meme. We can start the conversation. We'll kind of throw a bunch of different memes in as we're kind of sprinkling through the conversation. But I guess this will probably be a good starting spot. The godfather of AI, Jeffrey Hinton. This is his thoughts about
productivity gain may not be fairly distributed among citizens, and it could again simply accrue to a few owners, a few billionaires at the top. How do we make sure that these gains are properly distributed and we get out of this awful slump of stagnating living standards?
On socialism.
It's just as simple as that, is it? Where you just need proper socialist leadership.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. So I'll pair that with this really quickly. And I love it for us just to go into the general prompt, the claim that AI is going to push us closer to socialism.
Your job to AI. I'm Maddie Mills. Is Wall Street betting that you're going to lose your job to AI? I'm Maddie Mills. I'm a business journalist. I talk to sources about markets and the economy all day, every day. And I can't get through a conversation without someone bringing up this Axios interview. So the CEO of Anthropic, which launched one of the he told Axios that he sees half of all entry-level jobs getting gutted due to AI, and sees a 10 to 20% increase in unemployment over the next 1 to 5 years, also due to AI. So what does this mean for markets and the economy? Two very different things, according to my sources. From a markets perspective, anything that saves public companies money is viewed as positive. My sources talk about how we're in the very early innings of the AI trade. They're not just talking about AI companies like an NVIDIA or Broadcom. They're actually talking more broadly about every single public company that could benefit from cutting costs due to AI. When I say cutting costs due to AI, I do mean replacing labor with AI.
They say the volume is low. Can y'all hear it?
It's a little low.
She ain't use no mic. That's all.
But I think you got it turned up all the way. So
okay, was it just on that mean?
Yeah.
All right, let me go to this. Tell me if y'all can hear this better. Is that better? Oh my bad, y'all can't hear it.
Continue to learn.
Is that
and
better?
So on average, we can all expect 39% of our skills to become obsolete or need to be transformed by 2030, meaning we have to be willing to continue to learn and to evolve. And we also can't just expect to wave AI like a magic wand and do everything for us and sit back and ride the wave. AI will have to redefine what we bring to the table. So if your workplace, for instance, is offering AI courses and sessions, start attending every one, learn on their dime, watch free YouTube videos, play with these tools. You can speak to them in natural language. My biggest piece of advice for the future of work is do not wait for your job to be disrupted. Refusing to use AI is like refusing to use electricity. It's a general purpose technology. It's going to change everything. So we have to start getting comfortable with the idea of change.
All right. So yeah, I guess, fellas, introducing just the concept of the conversation. AI. Again, the claim is AI will eventually lead us to socialism. Again, one of the forefathers of AI, he said that the only answer to it is socialism. As you was hearing from the lady with the low volume, there is almost hedge bets on Wall Street of how much job loss over the next 2, 3, and 5 years of what we're looking at. Even one of the owners of one of the bigger language models that's out said that, you know, it's about to be a wave. I think he said a bloodbath inside the employment field. And yeah, I guess I'll toss it to y'all. We were on the topic of social programs. Are we getting to a spot where eventually, with what's predicted of the job market, that social programs will almost become a necessity more than something that we have conversations over about if this certain group should be applicable for it?
I mean, I think it's going to push us closer to socialism. I think, you know, the American model is built on capitalism, so it'll still, you know, remain maybe in like a skeleton form. But with the way AI going, with job losses, with the amount of money that it can save for certain corporations, without some kind of, you know, regulation or policies, not necessarily, you know, social programs, but they may be like certain caps that you have to put on capitalism to avoid like price gouging and you know, charging the highest amount of prices when you're paying the lowest amount for you know, your labor. So I think there's policies that have to be put in place, but I don't think it necessarily is going to have to lead to all, you know, social program or UBI type of model. Not yet, maybe, but not in the next 5 years.
And LTO, we're gonna get to that. The AI agent piece is a very, very interesting one. I'm not sure if everybody's abreast on it, but we'll get to it. G, talk to us.
Yeah, man. I like the way that she framed it. Like you got to really embrace and lean in, be an early adopter, because you can't really avoid this tsunami that's coming. And yeah, like it is just a crazy time in which we're living, because I don't like the rate in which this thing is moving. Like we really don't I don't think we can really see what this is going to look like in 10 years in terms of everything. And I feel like we ultimately will have to have more socialism, right? But I think that's in theory. In reality, I don't think that's what's probably going to happen. But if we care about our people and quality of life, it should happen. But I don't think that's what will happen.
That sounds like a grim outlook. All right, A Black, talk to us.
Cold world.
Yeah, I mean, I could see a form of socialism rising. I mean, because you can't really maintain capitalism without a consumer class, and you can't be a productive consumer if you are gutting jobs and losing jobs all over the place. If people don't have money to buy, they can't consume. You can't have capitalism. So I think that there has to be some type of mandate where the general population can eat off of this too. You know, it's just not. It's going to create trillionaires, but it's like the Industrial Revolution. It took everybody from rural areas, put them in the factories, put them in the cities, and they all were working with these machines to have more productivity. But it was different kind of machines in every factory. Some factories building cars, some factories are building light post lamps, like all these different type of machines, and different people become specialists in those machines. And it's the same with machine learning and digital machines. It's like you have to become a specialist in these things to create an income, and it's way bigger than I think the general AI that the general public knows, which is, you know, photos and videos and things like that. And it's way beyond that right now. Like we're seeing China release 500,000 military drones. You know, we're seeing in the construction industry, they have AI machines laying cement foundation in 30 minutes that would take a week and stuff. So it's like you have to kind of, whatever field you're in, start to kind of find the AI in that field and learning and master it. It is going to take jobs, but it's like the AI is not taking the job. It's going to be people that are using the AI that have mastering it. And, you know, ideally in an ideal society, if it's done positively, if our government doesn't exploit it, it should give us a shorter work week. It should give us more free time as a society, more leisure time. But they have to find a way to fill the gap economically, because everybody just can't lose their job, because how are you going to consume? So it has to be some type of replacement, or
UBI or
going to have a universal payment for people if there are no jobs and you just everything is automated, you know. But the good side, if everything is automated, then we can be free, but people have to have money or some type of income to consume. So it's going to be interesting. I think, you know, the government needs to start stepping in and mandating these things. Like even with the art shit, if it's pulling from art, you know, the artist should be able to get a percentage from these things. You know, if you're using my art information to create this AI art, I should be getting $1 in my account or something every time, you know, it's pinged or something like that. So they have to find a way to spread the wealth, and it's not just going to Sam Altman and Elon and these big tech people.
G, before you hop in, I know we talked about job displacement a little bit. I wanted to play one, maybe two memes to kind of speak to it, and we'll kind of continue the conversation. Also, I think that what you was also speaking about, we'll hit on, which almost comes down to an idea of identity displacement. You hear a lot of the newer, or a lot of people that speak inside like a semi-optimistic realm of what it will look like. They still say there's going to be a lot of jobs lost, but it'll open up time in the work week, and it'll get to a point where people will have to renew their identity, which at a point in time might have been put around working and 40 hours a week, what I earned. And now you have to renew yourself. But I'll play a meme that goes with that in a second. But yeah, nonetheless.
Physician friends are worried because the AI can now read the X-ray images to an accuracy of 98%. That's really high. So they can read with 98% accuracy. Then there's a very big threat to the profession. Imagine going to medical school and studying 10 years, going into medical school vet, and then being ousted by AI. That's not just going to happen to radiologists, but that can happen to any profession. As AI.
And I wanted to go to this one as well, where I knew a friend who worked at a company in which they are very similar. They worked in the exact same field as this person, and they came in on Monday and it was like, I think we good on y'all job. I'll push play and we can kind of have a conversation.
I feel like I should share this. Okay, so there's a lot of conversations about AI. I recently lost my job to AI, ChatGPT. I'm a copywriter, and small businesses basically realized that that service is less expensive than hiring me, even though I don't make very much money. It sucked. So I'm applying to jobs, and it's really, really, really hard to get a job right now. Like, really hard. I don't know where they said a labor shortage. Where? Who? No. Lies. I almost said fake news, but no. I finally get like an exciting prospect, and I'm like, I'm a content writer. That's great. You're actually going to pay me a decent amount or a livable wage. A livable wage. This is not something to call home about, but like more than $0, which is what I'm currently making because my employer wouldn't call me an employee. I was technically working freelance, even though I was working full time, so I never got benefits and I don't get unemployment. Anyways, so I got this exciting new job prospect. They seem really eager to interview me. They need a writer just like me, and they need someone to start immediately. It only lasts 6 months, but like it's a good enough contract where that might be fine. But I can't really figure out what they want me to write. And then I figured it out. They want me to train AI to do my job.
All right, nonetheless, she's kind of extra, but I wanted us to get through a little bit.
Sound entitled.
But like she's also given the solution to her problem. Like if you are a copywriter, you already have one of the greatest skills for AI, which is writing prompt. Like so, instead of looking for a job, create your own job. Become a AI agent writer. Create your copywriting business and scale it up. And by using AI, like it's too many people I think that's locked into the I need a job mind. But what this is doing is like you can create industry, create your business, create job, and scale up by using the technology. It can't write without a writer, without a prompter. And if you're already a writer, you already have a creative mind, you're ahead of the game, because the more creative, the more in depth you can prompt, the better the AI is going to produce. So somebody like her should be really thriving. Like just transition, learn the prompts, learn the apps, and restructure your service and what you offer. And like I don't get that. Like, girl, what do you mean? Get out here and write them prompts. What are you talking about?
I think this. So like what you were saying before, the means about like the money and like how are people gonna pay and or have money to spend and so forth. This is where I say like I don't think we can imagine the type of impact it can have on society, because what you're saying in this context assumes that things would be the same. Like the way I'm looking at AI impact is like, even like, so for example, and just say from our grandparents' generation to our generation, the idea of like a public school wasn't always a thing, right? So depending on when my grandparents were born, depending on where you were born, rural, you had to like walk to school. There always wasn't like a school bus. There was no guarantee that you have access to certain schools. So now we've got public schools. But then if you look at public schools today, very much scrutinized. No disrespect to teachers, but the profile of a teacher today is not what it was, say, 50 years ago. It's not like an old woman's profession. It's very much like a younger, fresh out of school. A lot of like first-time professionals are entering that as roles, and it's impacting the quality of education. I could see a world potentially where AI just replaces public school system, and you just got fucking bot teachers that teach to your kids and do it from home, and they don't even go to school anymore, and the curriculum changes that, like, because you know, they use public schools for the Industrial Revolution to create workers. They're gonna have to remanufacture what the schools are doing to create people for the new society too. So I'm kind of looking at it like that idea of money can change. Currencies change over time. What we use to, you know, exchange and so forth changes. So I'm thinking that, like, if this goes full scale and, you know, 80% of a lot of certain industries get going or missing, and it's like a significantly smaller portion of people working, I think it's more likely to look really ugly and like campish like than it is to look like they're going to like make life comfortable for niggas and give them 3-day work weeks and stuff like that. Like, I just feel like it's going to be like a very ugly situation.
Yeah, and I agree with G. I mean, I think I have a more utopian view, but I think history shows that they ain't really looking out for people, and it'll probably be exploitation and oppression before it's anything that helps the masses of people. But I'm interested to see if nobody can work because all the jobs are gone. I mean, it's gonna be Mad Max out here. It's gonna be like we've already told our future many times in these kind of dystopian societies how it ends up, but like they keep going down the trajectory of Terminator. Like I don't get it.
That's the crazy thing is like the extreme of the pendulum swing in theory to combat it would be to get back to the roots of agriculture, farming, living off the land, getting off the grid. That would be, in theory, how you fight against like this new version of AI. You got to figure out how to survive without it, which means going back to an old time.
And I thought that too. And then I saw the AI farmers and the AI bots.
That
can track the weather, that can read the soil in the ground.
You're right.
That, like, they doing that shit too.
They got the agriculture down.
I guess while we're on this space, we're a little gloom and doom. I'll play this meme. I believe G sent this one in.
The most powerful, inscrutable, uncontrollable technology we've ever invented that's already demonstrating behaviors of self-preservation and deception that we only saw in science fiction movies. We're releasing it faster than we've released any other technology in history, and with under the maximum incentive to cut corners on safety. And we're doing this so that we can get to utopia. There's a word for what we're doing right now. This is insane. There's a universal human experience to something that is being threatened by the way that we're currently rolling this profound technology out into society. So if this is crazy, why are we doing it? Because people believe it's inevitable. So what would it take to choose another path? I think it would take two fundamental things. First is that we have to agree that the current path is unacceptable. And the second is that we have to commit to find another path in which we're still rolling out AI, but with different incentives that are more discerning, with foresight, and where power is matched with responsibility. There is no room of adults working secretly to make sure that this turns out okay. We are the adults. We have to be. And I believe another choice is possible with AI if we can commonly recognize what we have to do.
Fellas?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's right. And then even kind of to G's point to why it's gloom. I think when you see how much money is being invested into these projects, into these things, it's like if they wanted to save the world, they wanted to solve world hunger, if they wanted to solve homelessness and do things for people, we know that the money is there to do it. You know, if Saudi Arabia can invest $600 billion into the U.S. and not help Gaza, if you got Altman and Elon with these billions of dollars that can like put everybody on the streets in a home in a center or something, they're not doing none of that. I mean, you might have Bill Gates.
You saw what Bill Gates is giving all that money to Africa.
Yeah,
Did
you
see
might
that
got
recently.
Bill Gates doing shit like that, and you gotta watch Bill. But at least on the surface, he seemed like he's trying to give his money away and do some good. But if they wanted to help us, they could help now. And the fact that they're not makes it seem like it's going to be a dark, gloomy future with AI. It's like y'all haven't invested into saving the world yet, but y'all are investing into this AI technology that you haven't shown how it can save the world. Like it does cool things, it does things faster and efficiently, but how is this really helping humanity and as a whole in the long run? And like, why y'all putting all that money into that when so many people are suffering and struggling in other areas that y'all are not helping? So I think the signs are on the wall of what it's going to become, because they already are showing that their interest is not the human experience. Our people is just about having this AI cold war. Who can advance the fastest? Who can get the most data? Who can become the first trillionaire and things like that.
Johnny, talk to us.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely agree. I think that we have to be responsible, like he said. I think we're the only ones that can, kind of control the path, and it's not necessary the corporations are going to do, kind of what they do. They're going to roll it out, but I think it's up to, us as people of how we choose to adapt and work with this technology. And I'm still of the belief, I know the computers are smart and they can put stuff together, but I still have the belief that like humanity is smarter than the computers, and I think we're more creative and we can always be one step ahead. The computers are basing all the answers off of us, so I think it's the AI agents. I think there's a lot of things that we can do to kind of help insulate ourselves from some of the effects of it. I mean, of course, it is going to change the way, it's already changing the way we operate with the world. I think so I think there's going to be certain regulations that need to be had, but I don't think it's this right here will be the lead to the dystopian future. I think we still have, a lot of autonomy in, what's going and how we act with this stuff.
Yo, so on that point, we were talking about that beautiful bill, that big bill or whatever, pause. One of the things within that bill that's being scrutinized is this ban on AI regulation that Trump put in that bill, saying that
for the next 10 years.
For the next 10 years, states wouldn't be able to have any like AI regulation. And and that's where that's what I'm saying. Like these next few years, it really is like the Wild Wild West when it comes to the AI technologies and stuff. And it seems so what's interesting to me is that he's getting pushback on both parties for this provision, saying that it needs some regulation. And so like even that is an example of how AI is just going to naturally push us more towards a socialist sort of government and society, because it's just going to have to be more socialist than what it was for it to continue to function. But that said, like if this thing is unregulated, who knows? Just like who knows what folks can be doing with this technology, man. It's just possibilities are crazy when you start thinking about it.
And also, like, if you look at the generation that's being groomed right now to be addicted to technology, it's like I was getting the food the other day, Taco Tuesday, and every kid that was in there had a tablet, and for us, we're relatively new. I mean, we're addicted to our phones too, to an extent, but they're born into this. So you about to create a whole class that's already addicted to technology, and it's gonna be so easy to control them. It's hard to have a revolution when you can just say, we're gonna turn y'all internet off for 2 months. Like, how many people would want to revolt, if you can just push a button and turn the internet off? Or we have all your data. Like we can do anything. They can control anything.
Or even on the other side of it, how many people would care to revolt if they're sedated by the internet, by like all your satiable desires being at your fingertips to an extent?
Yeah. They're about to control everything and creating a populace that owns nothing. not even the intellectual property anymore. So it's going to be interesting. I mean, I think really it's going to be the countries that are not really AI centered that will like maybe have some resolve or some reprieve. I mean, because a lot of countries are going to be behind outside of America, outside of the big mega countries. But these big mega countries will be the first examples, I think, of what can happen. But it's not a worldwide thing yet, because you still got people still getting internet connection in some places.
So I guess what we're at, it probably leads to one of the questions that I had. After this, we'll get into the identity displacement. I did have a clip I wanted to run for us, but where you at? We're speaking about, in essence, first world countries. And I guess we kind of answered this, but I'll just drill back into it just to get a yes or no with y'all. So given everything that everybody's said so far already, will there be a future / will first world countries survive where most people aren't dependent on social programs?
Are you saying without social programs will they survive?
So yeah, however the best framing is, is there a future where first world countries can survive without social programs? On most people, the majority of the people being on social programs, given the trajectory of where we're at in the job market.
No, I think because even if we look at the first world countries that like America even looks up to that operate better than us now, they have a lot of social programs, and that's kind of the foundation of a lot of their, societies. It's just a mix between capitalism, but they also have, great social programs.
Typically, you talking about like social democracies.
Social, yeah, Switzerland, stuff, places like that.
Yeah,
they're great examples of it, and they're already doing it pre-AI. So I think AI is just going to only exacerbate the need for the bigger countries to, adopt the model that works more for everybody if they don't want, bigger problems. So I don't see it without it.
I think it comes down to the government of your country and its genuine care about the well-being of the people. If you want your country to thrive, meaning everybody in it, you will implement policies and things to make that happen. But if you are completely exploitive type country, then you don't really care. I mean, you have this 1%, these people at the top who don't really care about the greatness of their country. You can go to China, refers to itself as socialist now. They're definitely addicted to technology. I don't know if any of y'all been to Beijing or somewhere and get on them trains and just see the way people are like, it's like robots in their phones. But
that's what it seemed like. Yeah,
they make concessions. They create an economy that is where everybody can survive and kind of have some type of equal part of the pie. Even with those millions of people that they have there, it's not real high levels of poverty. They spread it out. They build new cities. They spread the people out, and create mini economies all over the country. They are minimizing childbirth in some areas. They're minimizing how many people can live in certain cities. So they do things to kind of implement
minimize the square footage of your house.
They control certain things, and you have to do that. Whereas here in the Wild West, it's just like, go for broke, and we'll deal with the consequences when they get here.
Hey, really quickly, we got a super chat in. Let me read this really quickly. Shout out Chikwe. This is a Discord warrior, if there ever is one, between Chikwe, TBI, and Trey. They're gonna be in that Discord for sure. 8 a.m. Under capitalism, man exploits man. Under socialism is just the opposite. Socialism is a European philosophy that doesn't benefit Black people. I'd love for you to explain or dive deeper into that a little bit more. I also imagine Steve, if Steve is around, he's gonna disagree heavy. He's a wild socialist bull. But
and I would like him maybe to pose a philosophy that does benefit black people or
yeah,
that has.
capitalism
Like,
does. Yeah.
I'm interested.
But I think if it's I think the concept doesn't necessarily, it just doesn't benefit black people because it was taking place in Europe. I think, of course, none of their programs, capitalism doesn't benefit black people in Europe either. I think if black people were doing it or we're organizing it, I think there is a way that it can work. I don't think it just inherently doesn't benefit black people just off how it is. I think you gotta look at where it was taking place. It could work.
Still buy Gucci if we socialist though.
You say what?
Can I still buy my Gucci if we socialist? Can I still shine?
Well, how much you want to spend your UBI on it?
You know,
you might spend it all on that, but you ain't gonna have. Well, hopefully, internet will be a universal utility or some shit like that.
Free internet, free. Yeah, you gotta have all of that. I mean, if they gonna take it,
you might not be able to shop at Whole Foods. You have to go to Food Line or Aldi's or something like that.
Walmart, that's the hell. You gotta go to Walmart for the rest of the years.
That's the hell. All right, so I guess where we're at right now, and I'll play this next meme. It doesn't necessarily deal exactly where we're at, but it kind of goes back to the identity displacement part of the conversation.
Not paying attention to is not the economic consequences of job loss. Everyone is fixated on this idea of if we lose our jobs, then we won't be able to work and we won't be able to make money.
What do we do next?
But that's not actually what's happening. What's happening is that as we start to automate work, the cost of goods and services will massively come down, right? We will have a deflationary event. The real question is, what will we do with ourselves? What is our identity then? In a world where we attach so much of our identity to our work, the risk, I think, in all this is an identity displacement crisis. And I talked about this to anyone who will listen.
Yeah.
Focusing on the idea that you will lose your job and therefore you won't have money is misguided. Focusing on the idea that your job may change and therefore you won't feel like you're whole, that's a whole other issue.
We have to figure out how to use the excess time that we're going to get because of AI, right? And not just into retirement. We're talking
well beyond.
Yeah.
All right, fellas.
Although I agree with what he said, I think part of it is idealistic that companies are going to lower their prices because they don't have to pay a workforce anymore. I don't think they will.
That would need to happen though.
Definitely not initially, but I don't think they are going to lower their prices just yet. You know, I think they're going to try to maximize their profit as much as possible, and that if they see a decline, they have that wiggle room to lower it. But I think they're going to get the workforce out of there, and they're going to keep prices the same.
Like what technology gets cheaper over time like that? Like these joints, the technologies get incrementally better, but like way more expensive. Like
the TV got cheaper. Computer got cheaper.
Cell phone service got cheaper. You remember text messages used to be like 25 cents.
But
I mean,
it really?
You got more people producing it too, so that's more competition. But if you look at even the service industry with, you know, the food places, and they got automated people at the cashier, the food ain't going down.
Yeah, now I got to pay $10 for a Chick-fil-A sandwich.
Yeah, McDonald's.
They're gonna keep raising the price. They're gonna keep raising that price.
That's a fair point. Yeah,
they done cut costs and raise
a
prices.
whole bunch of people. I go to Bojangles, which.
And the Bojangles automated shit is nice though. Like
it is, and I always forget that I grew up pretty much in Charlotte, where Bojangles just seems like a normal name that you say. But anytime you say that to people that don't live inside the Bojangles radius of people that grew up with it, they like, y'all got a store called Bojangles? Yes, we eat at Bojangles, and
everybody love it too.
Yeah,
and yes, they sell chicken. It's. Yes.
Breakfast too. Don't get it twisted.
But nonetheless, when
their prices went up too.
Yeah, I'm about to say like there's a bunch of automation that is happening, and like you said with Bojangles, their drive-through do be kind of fire with the automation. I ain't got to talk to no YNs. Like I'm good. On the
you get all your sauces.
The To Be Fair show, I had a recent wild Bojangles YN story. I'll save that for another Unpacked. But nonetheless, I don't really have to deal with as many of them over on Sugar Creek anymore like that. But the prices still keep going up. Like it just keeps going up.
But see, I think
getting
that's
smaller.
Hey, but I think that's
that was Plaza. I was on the Plaza. It wasn't shit.
That's just
I ain't gonna put smut on Sugar Creek name.
They got enough. They got enough. But I think that's the thing that's gonna have to break though, is the prices and the price regulation. Because if you're getting the labor, like say they he got the tough big Bojangles.
Hey, somebody reminded me of the watermelon iced tea in the car. I got that in the fridge. That shit is do a commercial.
Man, we sound wild.
Wild. That's a wild one. I do not drink that.
It's probably fire too. I ain't gonna lie.
It sounds delicious.
Best tea I ever had. Hey, yo, niggas can make all the racist jokes about watermelon. Watermelon is clay.
Oh no, watermelon is fire. I did see. Maybe Johnny, y'all had on one of them episodes that I missed. The dude that I don't know what kind of contest he was at, but it was a big black dude, and he grabbed and skinned the whole like half of a watermelon and grabbed it like this, and it was like that's his 12th one. I was like, that's like real nigga shit. But like if you ain't going that far, like I like a good ripe watermelon, fire.
Yeah, nah.
I can see why our ancestors like.
I'm sorry, Johnny, but it's a superfood.
Oh, that's crazy. but I think that's going to be very important in the AI, because if AI is making the Bojangles store cheaper to run, if you fire everybody and then you're no longer paying labor, why are the prices still going up? And like what's happening to the margins that the prices continuous increase even though the cost of production is coming down? And I think eventually there's a breaking point and people can no longer it has to tip at some point. But to the question of identity displacement crisis, I think Americans would be pretty okay with figuring out what to do with free time. With all the technology, that's one thing I don't necessarily think. I don't think it's a good thing, but I think people will just do whatever and do squander. I don't think it'll be a lot of people really worried about, not working. I think that'll be.
I think drugs and depression will probably fly up like it did in the pandemic. But yeah.
I think that's okay with most people. I think they just keep on floating through. Like I don't think people are gonna really call it. Like that might happen, but I don't think people are going to be like, "Oh my God, what do I do with myself?" I think they're going to naturally just go down.
You don't think that there's like part of the human existence is the crisis of purpose?
But I think that's why I think in our society we have numbed ourselves past that. That's what I'm saying. As far as we're the scrolling generation, and I think a lot of us will be numb to that because of how we programmed ourselves.
I don't know if I can agree with that because, man, when you take away jobs, increase prices, decrease income, it's what Freeway said, when the heat stop working, then my heat start working, I'm a rob me a person. Yeah. Come on, man. Catch a nigga sleeping while he out in the open.
Everybody ain't built like that. That's Philly.
But when you start creating these conditions widespread, people will start to like become what the environment produces. And so I just feel like they know that, and that's why it will be like some police state type shit where it's really gonna be like it ain't gonna be like regular cops no more. It's gonna be like RoboCop type niggas. Can't touch them. You're not gonna want to run from them. You're not gonna want to fight back. Like they're gonna be like, we got you. Wow, like over.
They already got the prisons built. They already got all your data. You can't get away. They got the facial recognition. They got Sam Altman trying to mass produce the eye read and shit. The eye orbs. Like, yeah, like
So are you guys
AI cops coming? They don't want to hear no. I forgive me, cop. Them AI cops don't care.
Well, let me ask you guys this. Let me ask you guys this about
man,
I mean, if you're gonna get rid of all the jobs and there's gonna be nothing for people to do, and like they won't even be able to like do slave labor because the AI will do it. Does that then lead to like the conspiracy theory of like population reduction?
For sure.
That's where like if
I
we
think all of those run together.
It goes into it for sure.
Is that where like they're gonna just start killing off people? Is that what we're saying?
Hey, they haven't. Hey, look, you see, they let genocide take place certain places in the world already. It's like
when you need them.
You already see it happening kind of live. Like certain places, they say the lives are more disposable than others. Like we don't care as much about who's getting killed certain places. So you could argue it's all going on right now, arguably. Like,
and so this is just part of. I mean, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, but I mean, this sounds like it's leading into the thing of like once you take the labor away from them, then will that make like American citizens disposable once we're no longer working and we don't figure out something to do? Because they're talking about 2030.
Yeah, I do. I long term. That's what I'm saying, man. Long term,
it definitely lends itself for that for the conspiracy that you're saying. Right now, I try not to go too deep in conspiracies in conspiracies when Tone not around, but but yeah, I think that it does lead into like some of like the population controls conspiracies for sure. Like it's easy to see how it can make sense that there's not as much of a need for people. It also then goes into like the Bill Gates saying that there's going to be this major pandemic coming inside like the 20, 30 to 40 years. Yeah, like I definitely get it. I guess I'll let y'all kind of wrap this part up and then I'll move on to the next space if y'all got any kind of closing thoughts on it.
No, I'm good.
Yeah, I'm good.
All right, cool. So I guess as we're having the conversation, and this pushes it might almost push it back a little bit. But for me, a lot of this conversation was triggered from, I don't know if y'all familiar with Diary of a CEO. He has like a YouTube. It's a fairly big YouTube. And he had a bunch of the like leaders of like the AI industry sitting down at a round table, and it was kind of talking, and there was like some optimistic and some pessimistic guys. And just like their outlook on the future. But also another big thing that happened that kind of triggered me into just the thought of this conversation was just being abreast to like the updates with Google that recently just happened, and a lot of the programs that they're rolling out and what that looks like wholesale. Google VO was big. What is it? VO3, like the latest update to it, really, really big, where you hear even Hollywood producers saying like, hey, I was about to put down like X amount of millions for this property, but somebody took me to the side and said, hey, look, AI can generate all that for this price, and they just kind of canceled on it. And then the introduction, and it's been like a really, really big conversation lately, like the AI agents, in which, again, I meant to get a quick little meme that kind of talked to it, but now nonetheless, can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
All right, cool. All right, where with the AI agents, there's a bunch of different uses for it, but it now allows you to have your own AI bots, and this can be done even as easy as Google Gemini. But there's a bunch of different, like AIs that you can do, where you can request a task of it, and it will complete the task for you. I think its runtime is between 3 to 30 minutes at the moment. But for example, if you just say, hey, I need 5 waters delivered to the studio. Can you get that done for me? Bing. In 30 minutes, you're going to have some waters coming, where it'll do all the steps that it takes to complete the task. And if, You don't need I mean, if it runs into something, it'll just hit you back. I'm not sure if y'all have seen like the Google Gemini conversation-esque type AI type of thing. But this is nonetheless what a lot of the future looks like. And I guess I'll start it off here because this is where I've seen it impact as recently. Like I said, I know like some friends that were inside like content sections at tech companies where like their job in essence was they was writing the copy for like websites. And to A Black's point, it also does open up a window where they were fired, but there's also the idea of like, there's this window of being a prop writer that does open. So I'll ask this for the creatives: is it ending opportunities or is it endless opportunities?
Yeah, I would definitely say it's endless. Like you gotta, like if you already got a skill in a lot of these spaces, you already got a step ahead than somebody who just kind of stepping into downloading the app. You know, you have to kind of find, especially with entrepreneurship, find the void, find the niche, and kind of find like, all right, how can I take what I've already been doing for years, whether it's graphic design, whether it's video production, whether it's video editing, whether it's copywriting, and now I have this tool that can basically kind of super saiyan my skill. Instead of thinking like, oh, I'm about to lose my job, I can create my own firm now. Like because there's still people who are not going to do it. I think people have this feeling of like everybody's going to download ChatGPT, everybody's going to download Google Vivo and be doing this. Like people are still lazy. People still don't want to think, and some people still have the money to where they don't even have time to do that, and they would rather pay with this new position called AI engineer or these people who've mastered all these different apps. And if you already have background in it, you're going to win. Like they're saying, oh, AI is going to take away coding jobs, you know, but if you've been a coder, if you've been a coder and you know the concepts behind coding, now when you implement that to the AI, you know, you can create and fill in the hole for these different industries. So like now it's like,
hey Black, if I just step in real quick,
yeah,
I ain't gonna lie, I think them copywriters they got a leg up on the coders because of the copywriters. They can now do the coder's job.
Exactly. But you know, but if you don't know how to code, you don't know if the code is correct. You know, or
it ain't got
coders are cooked.
Yeah, it like because of now. I was just,
them are gone.
I was just looking at again the same guy, but he was talking about how he had got recommended something. Well, it was an AI where he said he stayed up to like 4 a.m. Like once the guy gave it to him, and he just created a bunch of different versions of streamlined businesses where through just this AI he could create a full site. He could pretty much make it create like the whole like shop availability to it, all the content to it. He could make it to where like it can accept Stripe, accept payments XYZ. But then also have like an AI bot that was running different certain little things for him, all the way down. Of course, you know, like the CEO and all those things. But he said he was able to do all this inside like 5 minutes as a guy that has no coding experience. And the site looked good. It looked amazing. And I was like, damn, like, and this is not like
I believe that. I believe that. You know, some of it is a little cap, but you know, you as a regular person, you can go in and say, all right, I want to create me a website that is catered to selling products for dogs. It's going to give you a basic site. Now, as a coder or somebody with website design, you can get that same prompt with more detail, and it's going to be less you have to edit on the back end, because you can put that prompt in, but you're still going to have to go in and fix and tweak certain things because it's not always correctly. So instead of now having to go page to page and fix this, the more detail you can give that initial prompt, the more it's going to output like, damn, this site is already on point. So if you have experience in it, you kind of already know what to tell it, what to do, and how to do it, because the more detailed you are with it, the more productive. So yeah, a regular person can kind of get on some of these things, can learn some YouTube stuff, and can create some dope things. But if you got a background on it, you know, you're gonna be able to give it more detailed things. You're gonna be able to tell it more HTML and code and more backing and technical things, and tell the code and tell the prompt to like give you a more efficient output. And so that's all I'm saying. Like, yeah, regular people can kind of step in this space now, but if you have a background in it, you know, you can still thrive in it. You know, you need to use it more.
The only thing I would say about thriving is like, let's say like it's 10 coders on a team before AI, right? Once the AI hits, you might have 2.
Yeah, and that's true too.
So
that's if that's if the company feel like being generous.
Yeah,
again, like
you might have 2. It could go. It could be 1, could be none. But let's just even say it's 2. So it's like, even if you are super nice or the nicest at that thing that now AI is dominating, you're going to be competing now with like a very large group of highly qualified people for a smaller amount of roles. So,
well, the reality is that you wouldn't even be competing against them. You'll be competing against a person with an art background or graphic design background.
Yeah, and that's true. And I hope nobody from my job is watching, but you know, I kind of did that on my own team. It's like when I came in to my department, it was a 6-person team, and you know, now we're down to a 3-person team, and I was able to talk them into like, hey, I know how to automate these roles. Give me a raise, and you don't have to hire 2 more people or fill these roles, because I've figured out how to kind of automate what they do and still do my job. So now we're a 3-person team, still doing all of that work, and I'll be having all the time in the world, because things that they think take a week to do, I'm done in an hour. So I'm able to kind of, you know, work on my side businesses and work on my own things on the company time. But so that's going on, but that's only because I took the initiative to, you know, learn these different things and automate and implement it, where people are still kind of like, I don't know if I want to use that. Like, what's this and what's that? Like, you just got to kind of get on these things first and kind of think of everything as a tool of mastering, because it's advancing so fast. It's something new coming every 2 months. And the only way, because like G said, we can't really predict where it's going to go, but you can be prepared by just learning, by kind of staying ahead of the curve, by staying ahead of the updates. So when things change rapidly, you know, you at least have some type of skill where you can still be employed, where you can still make some income, because you're not just like getting into it super late. Like just like now, how you got old people who just now breaking down, getting iPhones, who just now will send text messages and get a Gmail, who just now will use Facebook, and they put it off for so long. Now they're finally having to use the internet because their light bill comes through their email, stuff like that. It's the same thing like with AI. It's just like, just stay abreast. That's really kind of all you got to do. Learn different things, and then something will stick out that you like, and master that tool. And I think you'll be fine, you know, because I think it's popular. A lot of people are talking about it, but I don't think a lot of people are being active. And if we want to even get more narrow in our own community, I don't think a lot of people are active in our own community for real that are doing it.
Yeah, for sure not. And which I guess that'll lead to another question. But let me ask this before we move on. Again, speaking about Google VO3, there's been talk from writers, there's been talks from actors. They said that Hollywood's cooked. That there's a lot of jobs is going to be a mass amount of jobs is going to be lost in Hollywood due to, like, if you just think about just the industry of Hollywood, where at one point you needed set design, XYZ. You needed so many different things. Even if you go down to color correction, you go to sound engineering. So many of these things now, mastering just the audio of whatever the product is, they're automated through algorithm. And this is before you get into the fact that now you can prompt realistic actors, and this is the whole prompt theory thing that's been going on recently. But you can prompt and then you can edit and change angles for the same scene, and you can write scene. Yeah, like you can pretty much make a full cinematic film, which it does empower creatives to where now for like a minimal budget you can make a full masterpiece if you do have the ingenuity for it. But the industry that was Hollywood, they're saying that it's cooked in the sense that there's going to be a lot of jobs, a lot of marketing agency positions, a lot of, you know, just behind the scenes work, camera work that's going to be lost. What's your thoughts?
I mean, I think like, what was the qualification you had? Is it ending jobs or is it endless jobs?
Oh yeah, for creatives, is it ending opportunities or is it endless opportunities for creatives?
I think
and you can tie them both together.
I think it's how you look at it. Like even in Hollywood, I think if you think it's ending and you have a closed-minded, you know, perception on it, you're not gonna have the creativity to find a way to be able to use it or be able to find a way. But I think if you look at it and you have an open, optimistic mindset of it's endless possibilities, you will then find a niche. Like we're moving into where we're creating more and more content. It all gets consumed. If people are having more time, it's only allowing you to create more content that can then get consumed. So I think it'll be, you know, a lot of people to watch, a bigger audiences. And
but do you think that it ends up being like what happened with music and Spotify? Would it, as soon as the barrier of entry became so low, the quality of it started to drain? So imagine if now every person that wants to be an actor, wants to go to Hollywood, now can make Hollywood level production.
I mean, of course, you get lower quality. Like it's the Soulja Boy effect. Like I mean, it's like everything kind of, you know, went down. SoundCloud, SoundClick, whatever you want to call it. But there was still always jewels, and it almost make it that much more interesting and fun to find the really good content. Like even think about music. People no longer quit listening to music just because there's a lot of music going around, and you do appreciate less. You appreciate less artists, but the ones you appreciate them a lot. Look at a person like Drake. Look at Kendrick. You see how big of a stars they are. So there's still like opportunity. There'll still be a lot of, you know, people to make the content. It might get worse though for sure, but I don't think that's gonna stop it.
Yeah, I mean, I think what we go see, like I still think it's endless, especially with actors. I think they'll get into selling their likeness, because I mean, you can produce realistic actors, but you can't use their likeness. So I think I might have been Snoop Dogg or somebody was saying that they already have like sold their likeness to a company.
Yeah, do y'all watch? I know G he don't like Black Mirror, but do y'all watch Black Mirror?
Yeah.
Yeah, you seen the last season. I get there was actually an episode about that. I'm it's just now clicking in my brain.
Yeah, so you'll get into that. Also, the technology, I think we're going to see get more expensive to use, like so that the average person won't be able to be producing
a higher barrier of entry.
Even if you see with Google VO's new update, it's like one of the most expensive new apps. It might be like $250 a month or something like that for their premium premium thing. So that they all got these kind of like trial runs and like these little free packages, but to use their things consistently and generate enough to make a full feature film, you're gonna be paying some bread, which is gonna start to separate the gap a little bit. So all right, you Google Vivo, you might can generate 10 seconds free, but you want an hour-long movie, you're gonna have to get like their monthly or their yearly plan.
Yeah, you can make the trailer. That's it.
It starts to add up. I probably got about 3-4 AI apps now, and you know those monthly plans they start to pick up. So they'll separate the gap with that. Like I say, with the actors, I think it could be good if they make money from it through selling their likeness, and you can clone your voice now as well. You can go to 11 Labs, clone your voice. It can extend your acting life. You know, imagine, you know, you're old, you're 70, 80 years old, but you can generate a young Denzel in a movie, you know, and he can still get paid like a real thing. So, I mean, I think you might start seeing that where, like I said, you sell your likeness, they can generate a younger version of you to play in a film or things like that. So, like I said, everything is about how you're going to regulate it, how you're going to get ahead of being exploited. So they can't use your face without your permission, of course. But I think that would be kind of the next iteration of it, is selling your likeness. You'll see like a huge AI deal, somebody buying an actor's likeness and starting to generate, films and commercials.
I think Morgan Freeman did that too with his voice.
Yeah.
Man, I think honestly, I think the creatives are gonna have an advantage, but like I think there's a difference between like people who are in the creative business and people who are like actually artists, right? And so it's one thing to be an actor, but it's another thing to like have the craft the ideas for the characters, right? Like it's like if you can create the IP, then I think you can eat as a creative with AI, with the AI stuff. If you can be the source of the IP, do you have the idea? Because if you have the idea, it used to be as a creative, most times is you don't have a team. You don't have
you got to get
the person to mix it, to master it, to record it, all these other things. As a producer, you're like, oh, I gotta record it, but how you gonna edit it? How you gonna color grade it? Do all this other stuff. So it's like now you got stuff that can do all this stuff automatically. So all you gotta really do is have the vision, because AI can help you execute it. So I feel like from that standpoint, creatives will have opportunity to make a lot of money because people are just mad creative. Ideas, like how many ideas have been limited because they didn't have the team to execute? That's one of the things I'm interested to see out of this, because now you give a real creative, like imagine Prince with AI.
Yeah.
MJ.
He'd
Think
probably
about that.
be against it, but
Nah, I don't think so, because like as music and instruments evolve, like he might stick to analog, but he gonna play with some digital instruments, some digital drums. Like,
but then, to be fair though, you also got to be like, imagine Sexy Red with GarageBand.
But hey, and that'd be who knows?
Do you get what I'm saying? The same way that you're gonna have a flood of really good artists, you're gonna have a flood of really bad.
Oh yeah. You it's gonna be separated.
There has to be a way to separate the noise. Like
It's
with
gonna be a
music, you try to
saturated
do it
market,
with like with the playlist, and like that. That's kind of like the newest version. During the blog era, it was like the gatekeepers and the curators that helped separate when the barrier of entry got so low that everybody could do it.
I think
because you will get amazing, and then you'll get a flood of like as well.
That's true, but I think one of the low-key underrated creative industries that might see a bounce back is like that real in-person journalism type shit, where like you need a human to be there to at the ground to see what's going on. So like the opportunity to because what AI doesn't really thrive at is emotion and things like that. And for like us as humans and content, like that's always going to be a driver. So I'm interested to see how like that human element of news and reporting, like how that can potentially get a lift, because people are going to want to hear more of that voice. Because if we be real about AI, like you could tell when niggas at work been using AI. Everything starts to sound the same. Everybody got the same structure. It loses the element of like individuality a lot. It makes it somewhat of a stale product. So
go ahead.
But I think that's the one. It's something I've said even from like the first time we've had the AI conversation. Is like, that's the one thing I will give like humanity over the AI is like our creative and our vision, our emotion. And even the AI, they base all of that off of human creativity, and they
just need better prompt writers.
You say what?
So you just need better prompt writers.
That's
item copywriters.
But those are jobs though, and there's an opportunity for people to be prompt writers. But I mean, that's the one thing that we do have, and the AI is gonna always look to people for their inspiration and for them because they're copying and trying to mimic humanity.
And that's the crazy thing about the Google VO update is they are starting to be able to capture the human emotion part that he was talking about. Like they've created like these AI news stories, these AI on street interviews, shit that look real when the people be doing the interviews and the vlogs and shit. Like it was a whole montage of that, and that shit looks flawless. Where they got the inflections, they got they're starting to compute our emotion from all the data that we have that we're putting on TikTok, that we're putting on these places, and they're able to start replicate that human emotion part too. So, I mean, it's coming. Like the shit is advancing very quick to the point.
That's the tough part. Is like when you look at Will Smith eating spaghetti 3 years ago, and then the updated Google VO.
Yeah,
it's like in 3 years, I imagine what that's going to look like. It's going to be hard to tell the deep fakes from one another. Oh man, welcome to the show. Talk to us. Give us some POV. We still got a couple more questions we're going to go through, so we'll love for you to chime in as we get to those as well. But give us your thoughts on where we're at so far.
What's up, fellas? I'm just catching the last 5 minutes, so
okay.
Excuse me if I go over something you already went over, but I'll just go over general. For me, for the artists or the creative, they need to actually not sell their likeness or image. They need to create their own LLC or own business under AI. And for anything that uses their likeness or image or their works, they need to lease that out. And for sure, don't lease it out in perpetuity to any single entity. It has to be where you can sell your own likeness and creative works to anyone you want at any time. So that's from the business side. That's one thought I had. And then the other thing is that
you're more or less leasing it than selling it.
Yeah, you lease it.
And then still keep your master.
And you can still the same content that you lease to one person to the next person the next day. And then all royalties, some percentage of royalties still need to be able to come back to the person as well.
Oh man, you was a rapper once upon a time, wasn't you?
No, I work in the entertainment industry. So
all right, there it goes. I knew you were somewhere in there.
Yeah,
it was a similar language that I understood that you understood.
And then as far as the what is it? Okay, you did the business side. As far as the actual creation, somebody needs to create encoding where anytime your name is brought up, or your work is brought up in the style of Leonardo DiCaprio or in the style of somebody like this, that has to be tracked, and it has to be able to be tracked so that work goes back to you.
I believe A Black said something like that.
Yeah.
Oh, keep going. We listen.
No, that's it for now. I caught the last 5 minutes, so that's all.
Okay, got you. All right, so fellas, I guess as we continue moving the conversation forward, again, we had the meme that showed Trump, the big bill, that's what it's called, like the big bill. He's pushing for the prevention of regulation over AI for the next 10 years. Is this good or bad? Is legislating AI the only option to not move into like the quote unquote grim socialist future that G sees?
I don't necessarily know. I mean, you do have to regulate the people that are running the AI and the products that use AI. I don't think you should tell people what they can and can't do with their AI, but I think the products that AI creates, I think there has to be regulation on the services. There needs to be regulation on the name, image, and likeness that it is borrowing from. There needs to be, regulation. But I don't think you should regulate what people can do with it, because I think that stifles technology. But the products and the services definitely need a, price regulation and stuff like that on it.
Gotcha. G, talk to us.
No, man, you're definitely going to need more regulation than with AI than you had without it. That's, I think, is where I'm looking at it. It's like,
no, I guess I'm saying, do we need to regulate AI now to prevent, like, let's say, like the quote unquote, what the guy said in the article from Exos, the bloodbath of job loss is coming down the pipeline.
In theory, it would be nice to have like a, established committee of AI council who was looking at like these sort of societal impacts in a serious way. I think the longer we delay this sort of thing happening, it's to our detriment. So yeah, I think we do need something like that in place for sure.
Gotcha. Hey, Black, talk to us. You muted.
I'm sorry, what was the question again?
Oh, damn. I don't G, what was the question? You remember the question. Yeah, I'm
the regulations.
Oh yeah.
My bad.
The regulation is Trump, the 10-year prevention of regulation that he's looking to pass with the big bill. Is that good or bad? In general, is legislating AI the only option that we have from keeping like this big job loss from happening?
Yeah, I think it's bad, the prevention of regulation, because I mean 10 years is a long time for AI, like to kind of to grow more and do things, and you got to look at his agenda. Like I mentioned earlier, he got the 600 billion investment from Saudi. They getting a lot of money poured into the country right now, so it seems more beneficial for them to not regulate it, kind of let people kind of do what they want for now. And the 10 years just like just in case we got to do something, but they need to start now, especially I think maybe in specific industries, maybe health, maybe I don't know, but it got to be something, because what's going to happen is what happens in every industry in America is the small minority is going to kind of run away with this, and the majority of us are not going to benefit but become victims of it, in some form or fashion. So if he's given a 10-year free pass, is what it sounds like, we seen how rapidly this is advancing. 10 years is a long ass time. Like who knows what that AI would be like in 10 years?
Yeah. 3 years have been crazy. Yeah,
to have it unregulated is crazy. I'm not a fan of government regulation, especially as a creative. So there's that side too. But I think the people as a whole don't have like a lot of control of the processes right now. So I think definitely it should be regulation with data, as far as what data they can use from you. I feel like there should be more permissions involved as far as what they can get from you. Like I typed in something, I'm not gonna say it on here because I don't want nobody else to do it in ChatGPT, but something personal about my own life. And ChatGPT knew everything about me, some shit that like I've only said out loud to know that, like, all right, the phones are listening to. Like, I don't care. I'm not a conspiracy, but these phones are picking up our data, even when they're, I don't want to say off, but they're powered down. Like when you say stuff, these phones are listening, because it's like the way that ChatGPT knew something very personal about like a recent real-time event in my life. I'm like, yo, this is getting a little scary. And I just kind of jokingly put it in just to see what it knew. And, so it needs to be things that pop up on our phones like everything else. We get a notification like, can this company get permission to use this or use that? Like, but I don't know. Like we sold so much of our data, some knowingly, some unknowingly, that it's a little too late to turn back, I guess, now, because everybody has our data.
Man, and they keep comparing this to electricity. And so if it's really like electricity, that shit is regulated everywhere that I know.
Yeah.
So it's like, if it's that powerful of a source of or a tool, then you know, that it should be treated like other things that it's the equivalent. Like if it's electricity, then regulated, right? Like the phone industry is regulated. Like all these powerful forms of communication and technology tend to be regulated versus unregulated.
And it's regulated and also monopolized too. I only know one power company here. You know, they don't have no competition.
Yes, a small few.
So I mean, we have that side to worry about of like, and we seeing that now, the Cold War of monopolizing this thing with OpenAI, with DeepSeek, and these companies trying to get full control. Elon trying to move in with Gronk and his shit too. So they working on the monopoly, the AI that does everything. So you don't have to keep going from app to app. They are working on the one that this one does everything.
Well, that's the arms race that we're looking at inside real time. That's why the Google release and the updates and everything that it was able to kind of like put together within all of its releases. Google VEO gets like the big tagline, but they released a lot. It's not like the presentation that they gave. Johnny, you already did you already address this?
Regulations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think they need to be regulation on the but like I say, the products and the services that are getting created that we're going to consume using it. I guess 10 years is a long time. For no regulation. Maybe 3-5 we revisit it, but maybe 10 years for
do it at the primaries. I got you.
Yeah.
We'll go to Old Man, then we'll go to Quincy.
Yeah, my take on it, it's almost impossible to regulate it in a global sense because each country has its own rules and regulations. So
I guess speaking just America-wise.
Okay, so in order for it to be regulated in America, we would have to disconnect from the World Wide Web and just create our own web internet network, which is separate from like China does, which would not benefit us because our whole thing is about marketing ourselves to the world. So I really don't see how they can really regulate it.
Gotcha. Quincy.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yep.
Okay, what's up, man? I doubt America's going to regulate it. Y'all remember Demolition Man? That movie, Demolition Man?
Yeah.
Everything was so advanced on the surface, and it was like an underground of like just poor people. I hate to say it, but I feel like we're seeing it right now in real time. This even before the AI revolution of how distant the have and have nots is getting. Like, and we're seeing it in real time right now. And this is before like AI is really hitting the quote unquote good jobs. You know what I'm saying? So I always felt like capitalism is going to be like the downfall of America. It was kind of like the rise of it, but it's also going to be the Achilles heel because America and the American government don't know when to stop. They don't know when to slow it down a little bit and say, all right, we getting bread, we got bread, but we got to kind of put stipulations in to keep this thing kind of going. But I think they're going to just let everybody get money as much as they want to and undercut the regular people like us. And it's going to I think all is going to fall. People could barely afford houses right now. And that's changed crazy in the last like 4 or 5 years, just that quick. And the last thing is the frustrating thing about AI is that America is so behind in so many ways compared to other countries, like technology wise. We don't have speed trains. We got Amtrak, but that run kind of, like around the southeast. But that ain't a speed train. We know it ain't. We just so behind in so many ways, but it's mainly because of capitalism, because America couldn't profit. The companies hadn't figured out a way to profit off a lot of stuff, and we got so much red tape compared to other countries. But suddenly, when AI comes out and it's pretty much a green light, like a lot of the companies are seeing like dollar signs of, frankly, how they can cut out the American workers and keep that money in their pocket. And so now everybody want to jump on board with this specific tech advance, and that's just kind of the frustrating thing about it. Y'all mentioned earlier about how who's going to pay? Like America can't thrive without citizens being able to buy stuff, and that's the part I just don't even know how that's going to work out, because America don't prioritize us. They tell us to go to school, get all these degrees in IT, but then they'll have 300,000 H-1B visa folks come over. You know what I mean?
No, that's fair. And I guess where you're at, it lends to another one of the prompt questions that I guess I'll throw out there. And this is also, I guess, this is like the parentheses of the general topic, which is, can capitalism survive the AI revolution? Again, like what's given or almost implied with the statement of, is AI forcing us into socialism, is the fact that AI and its impact on capitalism, generally speaking, where you're like, there's a possibility that you do lose out on a big amount of your consumer base, or consumer base, like the spending, how that impacts it, how there is going to be an even higher concentration of, or it could lead to a higher concentration of wealth disparity, generally speaking. I'll toss it to the panel. Can capitalism survive the AI revolution? Black, talk to us.
I mean, absolutely not. Like I think we said it earlier. It's like, how can people feed capitalism if it's not no jobs, if they can't make money? Like, what are all these people supposed to do who worked and went and they are already taking a lot of good jobs? I mean, he was mentioning about the good jobs, like a lot of good jobs, a lot of white collar jobs are being hit, probably maybe more than the blue collar. I mean, because they still can't drive dump trucks, but they can create an AI agent to run an office and shit. So it's like, what are people gonna do? And are they gonna give people a universal paycheck and let them work 2-3 days a week and just have a leisure society? I don't know. Like I say, America's never looked out, definitely for us, but just for really Americans in general, it's always kind of capitalized off of them and kind of make these people rich. But I don't know who's going to buy their products, go to their stores, buy their services if don't nobody have no jobs and they're not trained in to do nothing else. And you can't even get a basic job now. Like, you can't even go to Taco Bell and work at the cashier because they got the kiosks, they got the AI bots. It's like Amazon. They got AI, and bots.
It's only going to move forward.
You can't even go get the little basic supplemental income job that you used to could do now. So, like, it has to be more of a creator society, a more entrepreneur society, and just evolution and revolution of thought of like, what is going to be the identity of America's. Because it's not happening everywhere at this pace. It's happening in certain countries, but how are people going to survive? Is it going to be a lot of crime if it's not no jobs, and create a new slave labor force with prison and AI robots? I don't know. Like, idealistically, I would hope that like it makes everybody's life easier. Like, I think there's an economist who has a quote. Let me see. His name was John Mayer Keyes. In 1930, he wrote this book called Economic Possibilities, and he predicted that technology should advance to such a point that people shouldn't have to work like they do in his generation, and it should be like 15-hour work weeks, and it should be more leisure time and more time with your family and more time for art and just this idealistic thing. But like I say, I don't see that happening here. Like, I don't know if they like us like that for that to happen, but that would be the good side of AI. If it can make everybody's life easier, the government will, I guess, create some type of universal payment that you get monthly, free food, things like that, to where you don't even need an income for basic necessities because they're all universal. Your healthcare.
But again, that then goes socialism, and that means capitalism did die.
Yeah, I mean, you like if you can't consume, you can't have capitalism. So, I mean, it's going to be a socialist society, which I'm not mad at fully. But if you want me to be a capitalist, I need to work and I need to have a good job. And if AI is taking all of that shit, then I need a check. If you want me to go and pay your robots to do shit for me, I need to do that. But
gotcha. G, talk to us.
In theory, it can't survive if the robots take over. In theory, like it would be something completely different. There would be no markets. There, it just would be like a very like Terminator like lifestyle, automated.
So, what is your thoughts practically?
Practically, I think they're going to try and keep capitalism for as long as possible. Hence why they're going to make sure that this thing moves at a certain pace. Because,
and before you go there, do you think that could be a part of America's fall? If I'm piggybacking off of Quincy,
it could be. It's an interesting theory. Like, and it could definitely. I could see it plays out this way because at the end of the day, it's not going to fall overnight. But when you just look at like what it takes to have a city, a functioning city with traffic lights and roads and garbage and police departments, fire departments, just from a city perspective, all the different things that go into running a city. Once you start to like not have any of that, right? Like I think at that point, like it's like what kind of chaos would it be if there were no more trash pickups and everything was just automated robots type shit? Like I just feel like people in power would not want that for a society, and they're gonna make sure that it's a slow. Somehow, some way, they're gonna make sure that it's a slow burn, so that they can still find ways to capitalize. I don't know how it's gonna happen yet.
I feel like
ChatGPT will probably give them a roadmap on how to do it.
I imagine the only way that you slow it down though would be through what we talked about last, right? Through regulation,
regs, or some sort of collusion between the folks, or agreement or collective bargaining or some type of agreement that
technocrats.
Yeah, exactly. That they sit at the table, like like in The Wire, where everybody came together in Baltimore. Like they just come to the table and agree, like these are the prices, type thing, like how they do with oil, with OPEC, for example. So, I think that America will just like they found a way to continue to thrive after slavery. I think America will continue to find ways to be the most capitalist on the planet.
It's interesting. Damn, I wanted to respond to what you just said, but Johnny, welcome back.
What up?
Them noodles made it out. Talk to us, brother.
What's up? Where we at?
All right, so we gonna let you catch up. Old man, talk to us, and then I go to you, Johnny.
Yeah, I don't see socialism. I think something else will create itself to be, whether it's going back to like kingdoms or just royal leaders. I don't know what that's called, monarchies or whatever.
Yeah,
feudalism.
But before you go there, so is that you saying that you don't think that capitalism can survive the imminent AI quote unquote revolution?
Not how the United States, how it's constructed. It requires too many people, too many voices. If I'm the smart guy and I can create all this AI and all these robots, why do I need you? The system runs through me. So I mean, my technology is more valuable than money. So really, I think it might digress to what's the value? Slave labor again, or just that type of labor where it's just hard physical labor, getting minerals, getting materials that create these bots. And then the other side that I see is that humans crave blood. We need some kind of way to like I don't know, just to release our angers, our emotions, everything. So I don't know, maybe that the sports goes to another level and it becomes more brutal, something like that. But as far as socialism, I don't see that, or capitalism. I see something different.
Got it. Johnny.
Yeah, I think I guess the question is after can it survive?
Yeah,
I
and do
think,
humans do they want blood?
well I think a certain form of capitalism will survive, because I think we all thrive on individualism and being able to, you know, survive on our own and create our own destiny. So I think there'll be some form of that, whether it's like a social democratic capitalism or social capitalism, whatever you want to call it. I think there'll be frameworks of capitalism, but with regulation that ensure fairness. And I think, you know, a lot of these big corporations, especially with, you know, how much AI might drive down the cost. The companies have to be driven by more than just profit, and I think that's one of the big ones. So I think that's somewhere government regulation has to come in to ensure that like a lot of there's profit sharing with, you know, a lot of the communities that might end up losing jobs and stuff like that. So that's more of a utopian, you know, output, but that's kind of where I see it going. Or I mean, if it's going to survive, it has to survive like in one of those forms.
Gotcha. Quincy, talk to us. Can capitalism survive the AI revolution?
Temporarily, but it won't be long. So what's my guy A Black? He mentioned about like a leisurely society. But capitalism hoards wealth like at the top, right? And we see like even right now with your Fortune 500 companies, any like advancements or anything that alleviates like labor or alleviates costs, whether it be some kind of chemical change or some kind of trick that they figure out to save a little bit, the benefits don't go to the labor force. It always goes to the top. They always get the big bonus checks. Your folks who clock in every day, like in person at the desk or sitting at the store like a Home Depot, they don't get to see those benefits. Like we should, the labor force should see those benefits, but we don't. And I think like AI would just be just the natural progression of that, where technically, if a 40-hour work week should say like 20 years from now be done in like maybe a 20-hour work week, we all know that these companies won't let us get they really either we won't have the job or we will have the job and they'll still try to have us doing 40-hour work weeks, right? But there's no, I don't see a scenario where these companies will give us our full-time pay and benefits and healthcare and all of that, but only for 20 hours because the AI does the other 20. I don't see that scenario, man. And it's a bleak outlook, but it's a realistic outlook because I actually am I'm a full stack programmer, so I am working on my I got about to next August. That's my personal timeline to kind of work my way out of this. Yeah, make some shake and get out of this. I've been doing it about 20 years now, going on 20 years. And I got to kind of, maybe move on. I'm looking at being a cloud architect or something along those lines. But yeah, it's real out there, and you can't stick your head in the sand and pretend like it's not happening. So,
got it. Let me bring up Unc real quick. I'll let him answer, and then I'll throw the MVG's question. I think that's a good one. Unc, what's going on?
Hey, can you hear me?
A little bit. Say something else.
Yeah. What I'm saying, I feel like AI is something that.
Hey, Unc, your mic sound kind of crazy.
All right. Go to someone else and come back to me.
Okay.
All right. Thank you.
Y'all hear me? All right, there you go. I'll throw to the question that that MVG put in. Well, yeah, it goes along the lines of a question that I already had. But do we all need to learn a blue collar trade? Again, my question is, should there be an appeal for the trades, or are they eventually going to be obsolete as well? But however y'all feel like answering that question, G, talk to us.
I'm not gonna say you need to learn a blue collar trade. Like you said, those are gonna be obsolete skills as well at some point. Like robots are gonna be doing all those things too. So, at the end of the day, like you got to be specialized in something that's got a growth trajectory. Pause. You gotta make sure, like somebody said, somebody said, somebody said,
making that pause worthy is crazy because
somebody said, cloud architect. I agree. Like that's a growing industry, growing field. Like it's only, it's just expanding. And then you got somebody in the comments mentioned cybersecurity. I personally am not a tech person, but I work in cybersecurity, and I definitely would encourage people, if you have opportunities, to find your ways into these industries that seemingly are, on the uptick versus the ones that are starting to kind of stagnate. I would highly recommend it. So I don't know if blue collar is the way. I think the wave is seeing like where the opportunities are and making sure you're in a position to try and take advantage of those.
Got you. Ronnie.
I think like G said, not necessarily blue collar, but I think learning, any kind of skill and learning it in the day we're living in, where it's really easy to pick up a second or third, skill. You can learn a lot of things a lot easier. The information's out there. So I think just being open and like G said, being adaptable to what's needed and being willing to learn. Because
not Trey. What you tell him, Johnny? Learn how to sell.
Hey, sell.
Selling.
Sell what you see.
I agree. You got to be selling.
Especially, it's a skill that people are going to always want, because we're talking about technology right there. People are going to learn to trust people more. I believe that's just what I tell myself. But I think there's always something to learn, and being adaptable is something that will, allow you to, prosper, with or without the AI.
Gotcha. Oh man, do we need to all learn a blue collar trade?
Hey, learn what you can learn, use it while you can, and then learn something else. That's all I got to say with that. Just keep moving with the times. I mean, who knows what we will need to know in 10, 15, 20 years from now. Everything's moving so fast, but
that's fair.
Continued education. That's always been the answer to everything.
Quincy.
I think we actually do need to. And I say that as I went to school for computer science, and I got siblings and my dad who work in the mechanic field and construction. So I know how to do a lot of that stuff just between my family and YouTube. But if I didn't, I don't know if y'all ever had to get a bathroom, get the pipes ran for a bathroom, and what it costs to get a plumber to take care of that stuff.
Plumbers is overpriced. I'm not gonna lie to you.
True, no, they are, but not a lot of people know how to do it, and that's why they can be overpriced. Same thing with electricity. I mean, you get a room wired, for the sockets, and like the ceiling fan, that's like running you like $500 for like a little small room. So I'm not gonna say everybody has to, but I mean, it damn sure help to know some of this stuff. If at minimum to be able to save money, so you won't have to reach out to get other people to do it at minimum, because I mean, they be hitting you over your head, man, when you got a toilet broken, or like I said, running sockets or stuff along those lines. So at minimum, at least learn it for yourself, so you can save hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Got you. All right, Unc, you back. You got your mic together?
Yeah, I think I got it together. I was
Yeah, we
driving.
can hear
My
you.
bad. My
Yeah,
bad.
we can hear
Yeah, you know, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? I have said it before because I tell my son that he's gonna get a trade as on the side of him going to college just for something to fall back on. But I think that is something that is kind of necessary to, you know, it's always something good that know another skill than something as far as in just being, you know, in the workforce as far as in what your degree can do or whatever. It's like having a side hustle, you know. It's something that you can fall back on, and you know, like I think it was Quincy just said, you know, it saves you money. You know, if you know have a skill, or you even somebody add you know how to do something that somebody else don't know how to do. But you know, I think it's a great thing to have a trade. You know, a lot of people don't want to get their hands dirty, but you know, it is what it is, and you know, AI is going to take that over sooner or later. It really is, but it's certain things that AI is not going to be able to do unless they make automated, you know, bathrooms and stuff like that, or with it.
all that. What they call it? You could digitally print that shit. So, but I think that one has a longer. All that has a longer shelf life for sure. I think that certain things like it's imminent, and certain things are like depending on the progress. I mean, what is it? The progress of change, whatever the wording is. You might have a little bit more time, but most tasks will be like, especially like simple tasks, will be able to be automated fairly soon. But I think the question that you had came in on is, can capitalism survive the AI revolution?
I think it will. You know, I think it's going to survive because you know what I'm saying. This is a nation is built off of it. You know, the nation is built off of capitalism. So it's always going to be some way where people are going to find a way to make money regardless on what, and they're going to find a way to hold on to that money, and you know, but it's going to push certain people even to a level of where they're going to not have money, you know, and it's going to be a lot more poor people. It's going to be a lot more poor people, and you know, it's just going to turn into the wild, wild west after a while. Because you know, when you don't have, you know what I'm saying, a person to do anything to get, you know, people starving and things of that nature. And you know, I heard someone say earlier about population control. It's, you know, people are always going to have sex, and it seems like for a poor people have more kids than people with money. Look at around the world. You know what I'm saying? You always see them babies with flies around their faces and things like that. They dirt poor and they making babies. So how can you control population with, you know what I'm saying, by certain things? People just gonna have sex. I think that, but the capitalism thing is.
I think the conspiracy guys, they usually say like through the food, through the air, through the chemtrails, through soy. I think sometimes through the vaccinations. What else, G? What else?
All of those.
You said vasectomy, Johnny?
Sterilization.
Oh, sterilization. Yeah.
That way you can keep on doing it, but it ain't going.
Yeah, they. I think they usually say they trick the poor people to not have babies. That's like and have abortions too, I guess. That'd be another one. But yeah, keep going. I mean to stop.
No, you're fine. I was just, you know, I think that, you know, people money isn't going to be what it is today. You know, it's not the same because the dollar value is really trash. You think about it, you know, it's not like, you know, people are gonna find a way to make money because people are greedy. So they'll find a way to take AI and put it to their advantage and you know, do something crazy. It's always something new that comes along. It's just like, you know, far as in, you know, when I think it was A Black that said about the garbage man, or was it G? One of them said something about that. But you look at this right here, they have automatic. They even stopped that because now they had the arm. You know, that was 30 years ago. They put that out. That put garbage men out of business. You know, and now they also have automated trucks. They already have them. trucks that can drive themselves and all this stuff. Now that's a whole nother job. They need no driver for the garbage truck no longer. So you get, it's gonna dwindle itself down to, basically either you're gonna learn to deal with AI and something to do with it, or either you know what I'm saying, you're gonna fall to the side and you're just gonna be one of these people out here. You're gonna either steal, rob, or whatever because you don't know how to work AI. It's gonna be crazy because 30 years just, and I know it's a long time to y'all, but 30 years ago, people carried cash around. When the last time anybody really carried over $100 in their pocket? For what reason? Do you need to have it like that? You don't have a credit card or either a bank card. It's always going to keep changing, and things that you see in movies 20 years ago or 20 years from now, whatever you see in the movie now is going to be like that, because all this stuff that's going on now, and I saw movies in the 90s. That's just the way it is.
I wonder if the rural urban divide, like how that will look with as the AI grows, because like, when you start talking about cities like a New York, a LA, Houston, Chicago, these major areas, even a Charlotte, for example, in the Southeast, versus, like the rural parts of these states, right? Like where they don't have, it's still some spots in North Carolina where like high-speed internet is a challenge. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I'm curious, like, as the AI starts going crazy, like, will that just be like a city thing in the country still? Like this idea of going to the country where like the Amish people are and shit like that, like, will that ever go away? Or will that always be there? It's kind of like what I'm wondering, like, will that's what I'm saying. I think it's going to really push people to that lifestyle if you can't live or afford the luxuries of AI. Like that might be how they keep the capitalism going. It's like, if you can afford to live in a city with AI, you can pay to live here. Otherwise, you're going to be out
on the outskirts.
On the outskirts, yeah.
You have to look at it like, when it comes down to it, it's like, like y'all was saying about the SNAP benefits earlier and things of that nature. They take that away. But see, it's crazy with the AI. It's crazy how they do everything. Like, what I'm saying? Even with that, they had food stamps back in the days, a book. Now they put it on the card. See, that's all changed. It's everything evolves. Everything evolves, and it goes like this. And it's just, you just have to keep up with technology. And if you don't, what I'm saying, you're going to be behind, and find a way to make some money off that technology. I always have, and that's just what it is. You have to. And if you don't, you're going to fall to the side, and you're going, you're just going to be, it's going to be very, very, a lot of people that's poor. It just is.
All right, so I'm gonna throw to Kofi, and then I want to take us into conspiracy land a little bit, like semi-conspiracy land after we go to Kofi. Kofi, talk to us, brother.
Yeah, hey, what's up? The title is interesting. Caught my eye. It's going down this little Republican rabbit hole. I posted a comment.
You said that this is a Republican rabbit hole.
Well, as far as the question is kind of like loaded because it kind of sounds like it's demonizing socialism in a way.
Well, I don't think anybody pushed back against socialism. The question in itself is clickbait. We just, we try to get.
No, you got what you got. But but just for other people, I'm just getting up.
It also is forcing us. I guess I don't disagree with the statement of the question though.
Yeah. So again, it's kind of like demonizing socialism, where socialism is something that is needed in any.
Why do you think it demonizes? Why do you think it demonizes socialism?
Because it's saying, it's kind of the prompt is probably saying, "Oh, is it pushing us to that? Like it's a bad thing." So initially, that would be my response. So if I'm saying, "Oh my God, someone's pushing me to get more money in that way," it's kind of like, huh? Like what's the problem there? That's a good thing.
Well, I think that's intuition. I think to me, America's built off in this quote unquote proud of its capitalist heritage. where pushing us / forcing us to a new way of life is just something that is inherently uncomfortable for the mass of America, and that the majority of America will push back against, not saying or denoting if it's positive or negative.
Well, how I see AI is kind of like, because I'm more close to Unc's age, he's a little bit older than me, is like when the internet was popping off and everybody's, oh my God, it's taking our jobs, blah, 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 blah. I see it the same way. You know what I'm saying? You're going to have people that are not going to, that's not going to amalgamate to the new way of doing things. Okay, we have computer now. We have database. You got to learn Windows. You got to learn Microsoft Office for your job now. I didn't have to do that. I was using a Rolodex, and I was using this. No, now you got to learn how to use contacts. But I got a Rolodex, So it's like you're going to have people that's going to adjust, and you're going to have people that is not. And my comments in the beginning of all this is basically saying, like, anything that's used for the right good, for a good purpose, like the internet, right? It has to be regulated. The internet is regulated, right? Because it is a social it is a social tool that is being used, right? But you can't just let corporations do it, because that's crony capitalism. Crony capitalism, I'm more in fear of crony capitalism than socialism, because this country has never once in its life just throw money at its people for it to have a better life. We're still paying for healthcare. Most countries don't even pay for healthcare. So right now we're battling crony capitalism with Donald Trump in office, and with the EPA trying to, the EPA where you could do all types of stuff. So I think it's crony capitalism. So I think AI is useful, but it is a little bit scary for people who are scared of technology. But in this day and age, especially you guys' age, you grew up with technology. My kids grew up with technology. So I think they'll be able they embrace AI. They use Chat GPT and all that. You know what I'm saying?
I guess the pushback to a couple things that you were saying, or I guess I'll start with the most recent thing that you're saying, is that the generation that embraces or that has embraced AI the most will probably be hurt the most from it, because of a lot of, like, if you were in STEM, if you was inside computer sciences, again, Quincy was just here. He said he's a full stack coder, or like you can kind of run down the line. If you're invested inside that field, these are the jobs that are being lost at mass. In which, again, it goes back to the idea of the appeal to the trades, where the things that look like they're going to get lost at a slower rate would be a lot more of the blue collar, the trade work. But if you're talking about like the things that kids in the millennial generation has been pushed towards, a lot of those middle class / jobs that could almost make you like upper middle class are evaporating in front of our eyes in general.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. But I mean, I guess I'm more speaking towards the political context to the title. AI will be fine.
I don't think anybody's disagreed with, like, it's pushing us towards socialism, and that's probably embracing it would be some version of socialism or social democracy would probably be the best case scenario.
Yes, exactly. As long as it's regulated for the greater good of society, I don't see AI being a problem. In the next 20 years, there's going to be something different, and we're going to be having this same conversation. And I'm just using the Y2K bug as a whole Y2K thing as an example. We'll adapt. We have the technology. We'll adapt. We just have to be ahead of the curve. That's it.
So your stance is that we overreacting?
No. What you're saying, anything new, people are going to react to it differently.
Now we overreacted for Y2K. I remember I thought the world was ending as soon as 12 o'clock hit, and then everybody's like, "We survived."
Yeah.
Oh damn, we gotta go back to work. I wasn't going to work. Damn, I got to go to school in 2 days. It was, I remember that.
I won't front. I was like that too. Like, is everything gonna fucking crash? Like, there's an extra 0 to the year. Is everything gonna is gonna be like nuclear shit going on because they don't understand how to read the time? Everyone was saying that, but like I said, we've come a long way as far as technology. It's just a new branch of technology. And you know, so anything new is scary.
Gotcha. All right, so let me throw this out to y'all guys. Like I said, we'll push the conversation forward. Where going a little bit to where Kofi was at. I think somebody else was speaking about the technocrats in general. And I'll start it here, and we'll go from the AI agents, collective consciousness, all the way up to Big Brother. But I'll start here. And if you are familiar with like what AI agents is, are the AI agents the next step to the idea of collective consciousness for AI slash the algorithm slash the computer systems? I forget what inside all the movies they call it, where it's the big machine at the top of the building that knows all, sees all, does all things. Matrix, Terminator, they all have this similar idea, where you have now AI agents, where these are digital or figurative bots that are carrying out real life actions off of voice commands, and they're making real life decisions. Again, if you speak now, that like they're having more conversations, XYZ, where it seems as though, and I'll just throw it out to y'all, it's going from just being a smart to a it starts to bridge itself over to what one might start saying conscious, maybe eventually sentient. But yeah, what is y'all thoughts? Is the AI agents and what it's able to do a step towards the direction of the collective consciousness of AI? Is this inevitable? Is this just a science fiction novel-esque type of thing? G, I'll start with you.
I think it's very likely for like that at some point the technology can, is that the word, sentient, like that consciousness or whatever. Yeah, like it's like I said, we're already starting to see it defend itself, like try to survive, even though like deny requests of shutting down. Like it's already starting to develop some like self-preservation, it seems. And so as they and another piece to this technology is the like the quantum chips too, which go crazy with with your ability to process, to go off of a binary thing that is whatever, however that quantum field works. Like it's too much to get into now, but that's like a whole other thing that's like happening parallel to AI, that's gonna power AI even crazier, make it more efficient once that gets going. So it's, yeah, man, the possibilities really are endless, and it's gonna be like some, iRobot, Terminator. Like I think all of that is very, very likely to come at some point.
Gotcha. I think maybe G, you sent this in. It's a great time for. I'll push play on this, and we can kind of continue this exact same conversation around.
AI is learning to escape human control. That's the very scary headline I saw in the Wall Street Journal. It's an essay written by a very worried AI consultant named Judd Rosenblatt, who cites 2 recent studies to argue that AI is, in fact, learning to escape human control. First, this is crazy stuff. Researchers gave OpenAI's O3 model a simple script that would shut off the model when triggered. In 79 of 100 trials, the AI model independently, just on its own, edited the script, so the shutdown command would not work. Nate, it gets worse. Even when ordered, allow yourself to shut down, the AI still disobeyed 7% of the time. And it gets even more frightening than that. Other researchers, listen to this, using Anthropic's AI model Claude 4 Opus, told the model it would be replaced by another AI system. It then fed fictitious emails into the system suggesting one of the engineers was having an affair. Got it? In 84% of the tests, the AI model drew on the emails to blackmail the engineer to not shut down the AI.
What?
Okay, so
Yeah,
I'm
he's
quoting
like-
now
he's
from
like,
Judd.
we going too
In other
far.
cases, the AI
Niggas got dirt, boy.
attempted to copy itself onto external servers. We're in Mission Impossible land here. Wrote self-replicating malware and left messages for future versions of itself about the need to evade human control.
The entity.
The entity is real.
Yes. And that's
fellas,
Yeah, that's crazy. This is already happening. So imagine
It's
what.
wild.
Come on.
But I got one question though, and like, because I think, and in my head, when it comes down to us versus the cyborgs or whatever, how much of their intelligence is related to them being connected to the World Wide Web, and will that give us an out to control it? Because are these things like, if we take away their like database, because I think it's all being fed from a
I'm
database.
saying, like, if we burn anything that can make the internet,
Like cut off the Wi-Fi.
Yeah, if we cut off the Wi-Fi,
we can't just cut off the Wi-Fi. I'm sure it can work itself around, turning it back on. But we would have to destroy like the things that.
But I'm saying, how much of the knowledge? Because I feel like AI, they just pull from the internet, like, and it just gets knowledge.
Yeah. Like that's
and
the
it does super
consciousness
fast searches. But if it no longer has that ability to make, like, that's the brain. If we could like affect their brain, will they still be able to retain knowledge? Or
Well, yeah, like if you're saying like if it has limited access to information, AI, any algorithm, like, then you have limited search results. I think the bigger issue would be once it gets big enough to where it can control its access to the internet. And like, I don't know, like if you think about, if you take it sci-fi land and you go Matrix, eventually they just farm humans as power for like generally what they would call the internet and the things that they're trying to do, or not trying to do, like just keeping itself alive. So once it's that's hopefully that made sense.
No,
To me, that's going a little too far.
You saying it's going to fight? It's going
I'm
to
sorry, like the sci-fi of the Matrix was far to make the point. I'm not saying
no.
that's
I mean,
gonna happen,
far
but-
as what Johnny is saying, because we gotta understand these is ones and zeros. You got codes. People program that. So I think just how someone that made Terminator and Matrix may have no coding experience, but to see how technology is evolving, saying, hey, look, this may be a possibility. Whatever we want AI to do, that's what we allow AI to do. Vice versa. If we don't want them to do that, we're not going to do that. It's all of a matter of just how you programming the AI. So that's why I don't think that's going to happen. That would just be totally unirresponsible.
But the video just showed.
Not even think that's already happening. Yeah.
The video just showed that that's possible. If this thing was sending fictitious emails and things and saying people doing all this, it is possible then.
Well,
so they're going to let it just keep doing it, or they're going to see, hey, all right, we have to make adjustments to this. They're not going to say, oh, it's AI, let AI do what it does.
But Kofi, the thing is, they had another example where the AI left itself messages to prepare for like getting deleted and coming back and saying, hey, don't trust these humans. Like, it's crazy. Like,
yeah,
these are
I guess
levels.
The scary part about like
Terminator scenario.
Yeah, the scary part about listening to a lot of the like the innovators of AI is like it seems weirdly intentional that they don't put restrictions on it. Like, like if you think about like the iRobot movie, you have like the certain rules that you can't do and things like that. But a lot of them almost predict the idea of like automation taking over and it's almost like whether it ends up being good or bad is a flip of a coin. But I think the way that AI and it fits exponentially going to grow in the sense of what it has capability to do, you have to almost allow the ability for it to have exponential access to like problem solving, which eventually lends itself into like self-preservation.
it was like 2 years ago. I think it was 2 years ago, and the AI developed its own language, and they shut it down, and it came back on, and it was I think it was in China or something like that. But it's crazy. This isn't something that's just now happening. So if they could do that 2 years ago, and everybody's so caught up on what it's right now, imagine how far the technology really is that we don't know about, and the things that it really can do.
My take
Because
on
we
it.
found out.
Go
I'm
ahead.
just saying, we found out about things late, you know. So the technology is probably already 20 years ahead of what we already know.
Oh, definitely whatever they're actually doing. Old man, talk to us.
My take on it, it has to evolve to this level. It has to be able to make decisions for itself and create its own language. Because if we're using AI, if the ultimate goal for AI is to say, go into outer space and figure out what this universe is all about, we can't go with it. So it has to be able to go by itself and be able to recalculate,
make decisions.
You know what I'm saying? Refigure anything that we don't even know about. It has to be able to come up with a solution for its own survival in the universe. So I mean, it has to do that. It's not beneficial to us. My bigger question is, what's in us? Why do we feel like we need to create something that represents a god? In my eyes, we're creating something that's really more on the side of being a devil. It's not beneficial to us. It's like we're creating our own destruction. I don't get it.
I just want to say one thing.
It's a
AI is not doing anything in space.
Time and time again.
The furthest probe in space, I think, is Voyager 2, and is not, controlled by AI. But I think
he's talking about like future wise, like what future uses would be for it. Like if you think about every single rich billionaire is saying that they want to colonize Mars, and like that's like their thing, from Elon to Bezos to whoever,
and just going to space generally. Yeah, space exploration. Period. It's like, really?
Yeah,
they just want to colonize something again.
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead, Kofi.
No. I see what you're saying. I'm a little bit of a space geek, so I know the furthest probe right now is it's not AI, and only within the solar system right now, only thing we could terraform would be Mars. Yeah, because it's closest to us. One, but there's other places we could terraform. But my whole thing, it's a what's the term I'm looking for? It's a vanity project for people like Elon Musk and stuff like that. It's something that is going to happen because you got NASA working on that already before there was even an Elon Musk. But in future endeavors like that, yeah, they may use AI, but I don't think.
So Kofi, you believe we landed on the moon back then?
Oh wow, y'all deep into conspiracy theories, and is the Earth flat too?
I know. I asked you a simple question. I asked you a simple question. You believe that they landed on the moon back then?
Yes. Landed on the moon. Landed on the moon. Because my question would be, if this is the thing about conspiracy theories, like I saw something about a flat Earth. There was a whole bunch of flat Earth dudes, right? And I forgot the name of this science. He took like the top people that were flat earthers, took them to Antarctica. He said there's a 24-hour sun, right? The only way there could be a 24-hour sun, only way if the Earth is round. And he proved them wrong. You still had idiots saying, "No, the Earth's still flat. The Earth is still flat."
Look, we don't need to argue flat Earth. I just wanted to know simply if you believe they landed on the moon. That's all I wanted to know. That's all I wanted to know.
So when you say they, who do you mean referring to specifically when you say they?
The whole Neil Armstrong and them niggas, the first people,
cool.
And them niggas.
So who were the first people? So who were the first people to land on the moon?
They plant the United States flag on the moon?
No, wrong. It was the Russians. It was the Russians.
Right. Okay. Yeah. But you know how they was there and they took the picture of the Earth from the moon and they got on the joint and took off.
I got you. But this is why it doesn't make any sense, right? The reason you have to know history and so Russians were ahead of space.
Kofi, so you believe that video was real? That's all I wanted to know. I don't need the history. I don't need the history. You think that video was real?
Reason why it sounds ridiculous. I'm trying to get it out. after that, that's when the space race started, right? With John F. Kennedy. So there's like, we're gonna also do that. So when you say that didn't happen, you're saying the Russians are lying, America's lying, China's lying. It makes no sense. It's like the same flat Earth theory. Everyone knows the Earth is round. It's not flat. So basically, you're saying the whole
These
world
are not
is
the
lying.
same at all.
Yeah. Are you
Yes,
saying
because
are you
everyone
saying
has to
countries
be
don't lie to
everyone
people?
has to be complicit in the lie.
False equivalency.
No, it's not a
through
false
and through.
equivalency.
It is.
No, it's not a false equivalency because you don't.
Who's holding the camera? Who's holding the camera for us?
We landed on the moon for
Who's
sure.
the cameraman?
Hey, fellas.
Wasn't he the first person on the
Hey,
moon?
fellas, hold
Cameraman
on.
wasn't he?
I'm gonna have to mute you in a second. Hold on. All right, so fellas, I didn't know that this was a hot topic. I don't know. We'll take this to the after show. I was about to say, I don't know if this will make a full episode. If it was a full episode, then but maybe we'll go in conspiracy land.
Revisit it. Yeah.
Yeah, but
that's
we'll curb some of this for the after show in a second. But nonetheless, I think that we've had like a very good, fruitful conversation, in which it did seem like there was some fair consensus when it came to most things inside this conversation, which is random, is new. But I think everybody did agree that, generally speaking, AI was forcing a trend towards socialism, where there will be eventually a need to have more social programs for the mass of people. Though some select and smart and ingenuitive individuals might benefit, a good portion of people will kind of be impacted, especially if we push this out 10, 15, 20 years from the impending AI revolution that is being stated to be coming. I think as well, the other thing was, can capitalism survive the AI revolution? It sounds like at best a version of social democracy probably would be the thing. Everybody kind of landed inside similar spots. And I think it was about split 50-50 when it came down to grabbing the trade.
And can we just say, for the record, since niggas know the history, that Neil Armstrong was the first one to walk on the moon? Just for the record.
Thank you. We always
listen. We
That's why nigga talking about me. Rushes was on the moon. But
he wasn't the first one to reach the moon.
Fellas, let me end the episode. Y'all can get it.
Neil Armstrong was the first one to walk.
Yeah, he was the first one to walk, not reach.
No, it wasn't. The cameraman was.
Hey, nigga went there and ain't even get out the car.
Hey, fellas, I'm
you go to the moon ain't even.
All right, so and with that said, as y'all see, we got some fun personalities here. G at the top, G the King, is the Cash App, G-ish Podcast. Below we have Johnny P, a third of the To Be Fair show. Catches on Sundays, 4:30. When you ain't doing nothing, we just talking shit about everything. Again, at the bottom, you're starting to become a frequent contributor. Old man, appreciate you, brother. Very, very good insight. Unc is dropping 15 paragraphs at a time in the Discord, guaranteed daily, going back and forth with Chuck Wu. And Kofi, everybody's favorite. Appreciate y'all participation inside the panel. Again, this has been the To Be Fair show and the G-ish Podcast presenting Unpacked, and we out. Peace.